right now?
We're
We're live on the air.
Now, well, let me explain what's going on here. So, the RHR has a booth here at the Flex table in the Ham Expo. Is that what it's called? Ham Expo?
Yeah, the
QSO Today.
QSO Today Virtual Ham Expo.
Okay, QSO Today Virtual Ham Fest Expo. And you can actually come in here and enjoy and join in with us. We're allowed up to 8 people to be in on this roundtable. And we're just discussing remote ham radio in our youth program. So if you haven't heard about the ham radio QSO, whatever it's called here, party, expo, Connor, could you put the link in so people can join in and can you put that in?
Logged into Restream. Rockwell could do it.
Okay.
Just go to the chat tab.
Chat tab.
I think I can go to the. Can I go to the Facebook page here?
Oh yeah. Oh, if you want to do it, just do Facebook. Yeah, I'll do that.
Yeah. So let me. I don't know the link. That's the problem.
I got it.
Okay.
You got it.
So we got 33 people watching us live on Facebook.
Cool.
So this is so. Let me explain one more time if you're just checking in here. We're on the QSO. I need that in front of me. What is it called?
It's a lot of words.
QSO Today Online Ham Expo.
QSO Today Online Ham Expo. We're in the Flex booth. And inside the Flex booth, we're on the RHR and Youth Engagement page. And we have a few youths in here. We got Connor Black, Whiskey 4 Italy, Papa Charlie. He's up there on the left-hand side. We got Rockwell, WW1X, right there. There he is. He's our lead developer. So if you've never seen a picture or a video of Rockwell, there he is. He's the magic behind the RHR console. To the right up there with the glasses on, that's me. I'm the old guy with I actually shaved today, so the beard doesn't look too bad. Then we got Keys, Osbury.
Van Osbury.
out of Minnesota, playing third base for the Minnesota Twins. Whiskey 0, Alpha Alpha Echo. And then we got Ben Eastwood, the son of Clint Eastwood. Kilo 4 Bravo Echo November.
Is that true? Is that canon now?
So we got a bunch of youths in here. We're on the Flex Radio, QSO Today, Ham Expo. You can actually come in and join in.
Yeah. So if you were in this QSO, if you're watching this and you were in the QSO Today thing earlier, we're in the arena. Right at the top is a Flex Radio area, and then if you scroll down a little bit, it's the RHR Youth Engagement table. I guess I don't know the right terminology here, but if you stop by right now, you could be on our Facebook stream. You could be live.
Be famous.
Yeah,
you could be internet famous.
Yeah, we can actually, instead of doing a QSO on the air, you can do a QSO in person today.
Do you get a card for that?
Sure, we'll send you a QSO card.
We'll do it on the blockchain or something.
Yeah, so welcome into our little demonstration here about our youth program. We're actually just sitting here. It's called a roundtable, and we're just talking about our WPX operation that we got coming up with the youths, and we're really looking forward to that. And
so we're all going to be in that, aren't we?
Yes, we're all right here. We got 5 of the 21 operators so far that signed up for the team, and we're really looking forward to that. So one of you guys can pick it up there for a moment. I want to share this video with a few people.
It looks like Connor's going to have to take it over.
I nominate Connor.
Now, take it away, Mr. Pebble.
Oh, that's me, Rock. I see what you did there. Yeah, so we're WPX is going to be awesome. They added a new category for WPX. I guess sideband and CW. The sideband's one's coming up in 2 weeks. Is it 2 weeks?
It's the end of the month.
Yeah.
Yep.
And what they did is they added a category called multi-distributed, which means that you can count your entry, multi entry, as one, team, as long as you're in the same CQ zone, which for us is zone 5, which is pretty much everything east of the Mississippi. So we're going to have dozens of operators from all over the world. We've got some European operators, right? We have some youths from Turkey. Is that right?
Yeah, none of the Turkey youth are on the team, but we do have a few hams around the world. We have a few hams around the world actually taking their license to be part of our team. They're actually trying to get their license.
A Delta Kilo youth, he's close enough.
Yeah, right. Yeah, that's cool.
Yep. And I believe, I'm 99.99% sure, if you get your technician license, that automatically qualifies you to operate multi with us under our station called Whiskey 1 X-Ray. So you don't have to go full board to get the extra to be part of our team. So if you're sitting somewhere in another country and you want to be on a team in a contest that's going to do big and bold things, and you know how to operate, get your license. FCC license.
Yeah, definitely. It's like the go to stations in field day, but a little bigger and get on the air stations.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
a little bit bigger platform than that.
We have. I counted it the other day. We have 14 potential stations with 500 watts or more that we can access during the contest, from Eastport, Maine to Atlanta, Georgia.
Yeah, it's gonna be.
Every one of those stations have, their own good propagation. For example, Summit, New York is going to be Killer West. Eastport and Jonesport are going to be killer to Europe. And Atlanta might be our best site for working JAs and getting those special multipliers.
Or Caribbean,
really
right?
And South America.
Yeah, South America, Caribbean, definitely. Plus, he's got tons of beverages over there too for low bands. Like, that's going to be sick. Yeah.
Yeah, Bobby says I should be on the work computer. He doesn't realize I got Ella in the bedroom next door. So
Bobby's directing behind the scenes.
Yeah, Bobby's directing behind the scenes. How's the stream working there, Bobby? Let us know.
Yeah, looks good from my end.
Right here.
Yeah.
I should pull up the chat. How do I pull up the chat, Connor?
Go to the Restream link, sign in, and then there's a tab on the left labeled chat. Believe it or not.
Chat app.
Man, the Discord bot, it really takes a long time for it to show this.
Yeah, I'm working on coding a new one.
It's really bad.
Well, I guess we should talk a little bit about the WPX contest and how we're going to set it up with the youths. So I think
I can share our account if you want. Show the console.
Do we
how did you show the console earlier with the lockout? You just showed a quick presentation on it?
Yeah, Ben and I got on.
Yeah, I mean, if you guys want to go ahead and do that and show how the lockout works, that would be great.
Okay.
Awesome. I'll log back in.
I log back in and change scenes here.
Okay. So you're gonna share your screen.
Yep. It should be up now. My screen should be up.
Okay, I'm not seeing it currently.
Yeah, it's not up yet.
It'll take a second.
Okay, I see it now.
We'll just go to the 10-meter calling frequency because nobody's going to be there.
Okay.
And so here in the list, we select our log, which is WPXSSB multi-op.
Yep.
And you see me and Ben are both on there.
Okay.
And if Ben comes to my frequency 28400,
okay.
He's on Eastport, I'm on Jonesport.
Okay.
So if I transmit Whiskey 1 X-Ray, he's locked out. And if he transmits, I can't transmit.
Whiskey 1 X-Ray.
Whiskey Whiskey 1 X-ray, and then Ben
Whiskey
transmits.
Whiskey 1 X-ray.
And see, it says band locked out.
Yeah,
Kind of genius.
Yeah, I mean, think about how monumental. Being that I'm a contester and I've been doing this for a long time. When you had to do a lockout in the past, and this is irrelevant if it's a station locally within the same circle of 500 meters, or it's in a circle of 500,000 meters, for an example. It's irrelevant because the lockout is going to work either with a bunch of stations on site on the same band, or a bunch of stations that we're going to be operating in this multi-distributed contest. And the old way, the way you had to do a lockout is you had to bring all those cables and all those relays and bring it all to a central point on the property. And then everybody would sit in that central point and operate the contest sitting side by side to each other and operating. Well, this new lockout that we have that's in the cloud that is bulletproof from what I could tell, eliminates all of that. So the operator could be, for an example, Connor being in Virginia and I being in New York, we can lock out each other regardless of what station we operate from. It's a huge deal because to do that with an external logger today, I don't even know if it's even possible. You might be able to do it with N1MN, but I don't know with all the latency if that would even be effective. But we're able to do it within our own logger that everybody's going to be connected to is really monumental, guys. I can't tell you how big of a deal that is to make something like that happen. And it's really a game changer for us when we operate this WPX contest.
Yeah, Kim in the Facebook chat saying they had a contest last week. Multi setup, 2 Flex radios, 2 Yaesus, 4 hams in the shack, and 10 hams around the world doing the Flex radios. That's awesome. That's the way it's going. Kim Schmidt-Wind in the Facebook chat.
Okay.
Yeah, they
Great.
probably, I don't know where they were, but they probably had more fun than me. It was not a great band condition weekend.
Oh, no.
Yeah, Kim, can you tell us where you're located? I ran multi contests last week, multi set up 2 Flex radios and 4 Yaesu radios. Yeah, I'm curious, Kim, where you're located and how did you do? It's always important. How was the score?
The important thing is that you had fun and you made friends along the way.
Yes, and you know what the most fun about doing this is implementing it. Implementing it to make it work. I mean, Rockwell's been implementing this for a while now.
Yeah. 8 years?
8 years. 8 years he's been slaving in that basement to make this happen. He probably did it in 8 hours, but you know how an IT guy says, when you tell an IT guy, hey, I need something done, it's 2 weeks. They do it in 2 minutes, and then they tell you 2 weeks.
Mm-hmm. You found me out. You got me.
I don't know. Rockwell is quick with stuff, I tell you.
I try.
So we're in the QSO Today RHR Youth Flex roundtable. So if you're sitting watching this video here while we're live, you can actually be in here with us chatting in this little expo. Go to QSO Today, the virtual Ham Fest. You can look it up online. Go to, I guess, Google it. QSO Today Virtual Ham Fest. Sign in. Once you're signed in, go to the Flex booth. Once you're in the Flex booth, you guys know what the remainder of the process is there to get to us?
Go to Arena. Arena's at the top. And then find Flex, and then just click us. You'll see all of our little faces on a table.
Right.
And it should be labeled Youth something or other RHR.
Yeah, it's called the RHR and Youth Engagement. So if you want to jump in here and ask us a bunch of questions, talk about the youth program or talk about our contesting or talk about what we have, in development, we'll be more than happy to talk to you and tell you exactly what's going on. But we need an audience to engage us here. So the 5 of us here, we're pretty talk regularly. So, what may interest you may not be something we would discuss between the 5 of us unless we have some input. So, yeah, find the time and find us on the QSO Today RHR Youth Flex roundtable. And we just described how to get here. So we look forward to a few people checking in.
And now this does continue tomorrow as well. We'll be some of us will be in here tomorrow, hanging out as well, answering questions, talking. And what was I going to say? I was just waiting for some like random person to just come into the thing and not realize that we're streaming them out to the world.
Well, I think we just
Lee.
It's just Lee.
CT station tour.
You finally on the stream here, Lee? No
copy, old man. You got to turn your microphone on.
Yeah.
And your camera. We want to broadcast you live.
All we need is Bobby in here now.
It's just like Hamvention all over again. Oh God, when was the last time we did a Hamvention booth? That was a long time ago now.
You remember doing a Hamvention booth inside Dayton and with everybody on the internet there? How porty it was?
Yeah, that was not good.
Yeah.
Even with dedicated internet, it was not ideal.
Yeah.
Yeah. I went to Dayton in 2019, first time and last time until we can get back there. I was supposed to speak last year and this year.
Dang.
Well, maybe we'll get lucky and it'll be on for next year. But I have my doubts.
Lee's still figuring this out.
Yeah. Well, at least he made it.
We won't make fun of Lee.
Well, I could have.
No, we will.
The first
we
time
will make fun of Lee.
You know what it is? I think he went and combed. I think he went to go comb his hair and maybe shave.
I don't know. I think his hair is always that way. I've never seen it not perfectly. Perfectly formed.
Maybe it's a hat.
George from Copenhagen.
Yeah. Sleep.
Oh, did Ben just leave?
And I think Ben's internet dropped like it does all the time.
I'm on a.
Of course it did.
That's not Ella.
Yellow. Oh, Ben just.
What are you doing?
For real, Kelly told me to come here.
And do what?
I don't know.
Well, she's sleeping right now, so if you want to just chill out. I actually have a babysitter here now for Ella, so I can chat along here with you guys now.
Hey. Oh, I should probably get out of here pretty soon.
You know what? I'm gonna go on my computer downstairs, guys. I'll be back in a few moments.
Okay.
All right.
All right.
I should probably get out of here. I got to eat some food, and the NA Sprint RTTY is happening, so I'm gonna do that.
And go deedle some.
Enjoy raids.
Okay, I'm just doing it for fun. I made a team for
Nothing's
Minnesota
fun
Wireless.
about Riddy.
Yeah, that's fair. Okay, a sprint is actually a little bit better since you can actually tune. You tune quickly. That's keeps you interested.
I did NAQ or CQ Worldwide or WPX Riddy from Summit, and that was about the most boring time of my life.
But you still won.
I did win. I did get a plaque. But never again. I've got the plaque now. It's not happening again.
Wait, did you actually get the plaque? No,
Yeah.
they're still.
Well, I didn't get it yet, but
Yeah, they're
claiming
still.
I got it.
Yeah.
Yeah, what's up with Lee? Your technology.
I'll ping him.
Oh, hopefully Lee comes on here. All right, I'm gonna get out of here. See you guys.
All right.
Fun.
Yes, I will have fun eating.
Okay.
Ben's internet is having trouble.
Yeah, it is. At least it's just me and you, Connor. Your camera's having trouble. Wait,
how
down
do you
there.
lead
Looks
this
like
thing
you're-
again? No, I'm
Looks
kidding.
like you're still on. Looks like you're in the deep end of the pool. I'm just like,
Oh yeah. So my camera is angled down as far as I can get it.
oh, okay.
because my monitor is about 3 feet up from my head, so I'm looking at my camera now.
Well, yeah, my camera is below me, which is like a little weird because most people's cameras are above them, but I have like a big monitor, so it looks really weird.
Yeah, I need to get my DSLR. I need to find it. You should see this shack. I need to find my DSLR and put that back as my...
Sit up on... Someone on YouTube says, "Hi, Connor, sit up on some books."
Who said that?
Really bad aim.
Oh, God.
I love it. Like a booster seat. Well, anyway, yeah, for people who are watching the stream or whatever, we're just hanging out in the QSO Today Expo Flex, I can say words, FlexRadio booth thing. If you want to come on by and chat with us.
Come visit us.
Yeah. You can be on the stream too. Really Bad Aim says it's N5RWC. I don't know if that means anything to you, but I think we just successfully had a QSO, so expect a card from Connor. His name is Tim. Welcome, Tim. Tango India Mike. Tim. My name is Tim.
I'm stalking Tim on QR. Oh, okay. I don't exactly recognize you, Tim, but I do recognize the profile pic. I think you use RHR. I do recognize the QRZ profile picture, so do expect a card.
Eyeball Q. Something. Remote.
Oh.
Well, there goes.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, Tim is an RHR user.
It says it right there on his QRZ page.
Cool. Repping the RHR. I love it.
Love to see it. Love to see it.
Well, it'll be nice once Ray finally gets up to Jonesport and gets me my hoodie so I can rep the Jonesport.
Oh, yeah. Why don't you bug him now?
What, did he send you some swag?
No, he posted it on Facebook.
Oh, he's in the shack now.
Yeah. Ben had his
the Jonesport hoodie.
Okay.
Yeah, Ben took that picture of him with the fake Jonesport hoodie, and now Ray has to get him an actual Jonesport main hoodie.
Let us know if you can't hear us.
Oh, by the way, I think I owe. Is it you, Ben, that I got to get you a Jonesport hoodie?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. The next time I go up there. The last time I went up there, me and Bobby were in such a rush. I never got to go into town, and the weather was getting bad, so we split. We split out of there pretty quick.
Yeah, I know I can get up there.
So.
Hello, Nicholas.
Oh, Sam.
We got another
RHR Youth.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, we're good.
What's the story with Lee? What happened to Lee?
I don't know.
We don't know.
Sam, what's up, kid? You got to turn. I think you got to get your mic on.
No coffee, old man.
Oh.
Uh,
Sorry about that. What's going on, Sam?
I think he accidentally said his audio input to DAX.
One of the 17 DAX devices.
Yeah. Every time I have a friend install Smart SDR, that's their first complaint. Oh my lord, there's 5 million.
No, it's useful. You can route your audio everywhere.
Oh yeah, I use those DAX audio cables like crazy.
Yeah, because you can use it for anything.
Yeah, because once they're installed, they're always linked.
Although you can't set your system audio output as the DAX, from what I have seen. Maybe my computer's set up wrong, but it won't let me do that, so I don't know.
It won't let you do what?
Well, when I try to select a DAX device as my system audio output, it resets to whatever it was before.
Maybe that's on purpose. Like they might.
It seems like something that would be on purpose, so I didn't.
I was poking around in there. If you look at the drivers for that, it's just a white labeled, like off the shelf audio thing you can get a license for. And
that's funny.
Yeah, which is smart. I mean, like, don't reinvent that wheel.
Ray's amplifier is transmitting.
Oh yeah.
So Nicholas is asking YouTube, can we use RHR with a French license? That's a great question. The answer is yes, but it's very you don't have access to the USA stations unless you have an actual USA license, a USA call sign. under SEPT, you can listen on all our US stations. Obviously, you can receive anywhere. But then for transmit, you'd only have access to our 9 Alpha station in Croatia.
That's correct.
Is that right, Ray?
That's correct. Yep,
yeah.
that's correct.
Just like how I can only listen on 9 Alpha until I get extra.
Right.
Okay. Yeah. Same thing. So.
But keep in mind, if you're in Europe, 9 Alpha is not going to be the only option. We have other things in development. I can't say where and what countries, but most likely they will be SEPT agreement with most of the other countries in Europe. So there's going to be a lot of open doors for Europeans specifically, but foreigners from around the world. But the easiest way to get on RHR is go get your license. If you can get your general class license, that at least get you in the door on all the bands. If you get the extra class license, that's great. If you get your technician license, you can at least join in and operate with us in a multi.
Yeah, you can get it remote too. If your country doesn't offer them in person, you can just go to hamstudy.org. And right there, they have a bunch of online sessions you can sign up for and take it remote.
Yeah, and there's an organization out of Australia that's doing a really good job. It's the best I've seen so far. It's called victorechoalpha.au.org, I believe. Let me see if I got that.
That's right.
Yeah, and they have test sessions every weekend. So if you study for the week, you can do the online session. You don't even have to leave your house, which is great. So you can get your FCC license without even leaving the doors.
And if you go to GLARG, GLAARG, VE.
What a great name.
I know. It's an acronym for something. If you're a youth, I think under the age of 25 is their rule, or you're a student or a veteran, like a first responder or a military veteran, you can take your tests for free online. So there's also that.
I love how like we could have been doing online testing forever, and once COVID happened, people were petitioning the FCC, hey man, let this be a thing, and they came back and were like, guys, there's nothing expressly prohibiting this. We could have been doing this the whole time. Just like, geez.
Yeah,
how many more people could we have gotten into the hobby if you didn't have to freaking go to like a Elks club?
That's a huge holdup.
Yeah, we were lucky that at my high school club, the local VEC was very nice and would offer us tests at the high school after school.
That's perfect. That's the way to do it.
And if we passed them, it was $15 to take the test. If we passed it, they'd give us our money back, and they'd let us take the next test up for free. So
but they punish you for failing. That's very motivating. It should be if you fail, you get your money back.
What? No.
I had to drive out of state to get my license test, but it was free because it was the.
You live down the street from DC.
Yeah, I mean it was Maryland. It was like a 45-minute drive or something. But for my extra, I'm totally taking it remote. I mean that sounds like a. I mean, it's so
right. You can have your little cheat sheet underneath the desk there.
Maybe that's how Ben's gonna get his extra.
I wouldn't be surprised if there are some people doing that, but definitely not me.
Well,
it's actually quite hard. They make you take your camera and show your whole area where you're at, and so instead of doing that, most people just take their test in the bathroom with a laptop.
Well, I seen Bobby checked in and then he checked out.
Yeah, and Sam left.
Yeah, so I don't know. Maybe they can't get their mic set up or something.
I pinned on Facebook. I put the link so you can get onto this QSO Today Ham Expo with us. Just click that link and sign up, and come on in and find us at FlexRadio.
I can post in the chat here. Is it
the
thing BA5B?
The link that I sent.
I think Bobby already put it in there. I seen one of his comments.
Yeah,
That's me.
yeah. I'll post a direct link here.
Okay.
Yeah, that was me that posted that in there. Just
Okay.
the PHP. Yeah.
So if you're just checking in to our live stream here, we're actually live at the QSO Today Expo, and we're in the Flex booth, and we're in the RHR Youth engagement channel, and we put a link in there on how you can reach us, and you can participate and be in with us and get your video in there and participate with us. So we would love to have some audience here with us here, and if you have any questions about our youth program, we'd be more than happy to talk about it. We'd be happy to talk about remoting in general. If you have any good questions or anything, absolutely come in here. We're allowed to have 8 people in the roundtable, and currently we have 4. So follow the link to QSO Today Ham Expo. Once you're in, go to the Flex Radio Arena, and from there you can get into our little channel here called the RHR and Youth Engagement. We look forward to a few people checking in here. You can get your microphone and the audio set up. It's pretty seamless. It's not very difficult at all.
Ray did it.
Yeah, if I could figure it out, anybody could figure it out. Actually, Lee couldn't figure it out. So what's going on there?
Yeah.
And good to see everybody in here. So this is the QSO Today RHR Youth Flex Roundtable at the Expo. And the Expo's got a lot of presentations going on. It's like a regular ham fest. It's like a regular ham fest, and
doesn't smell quite as bad.
Doesn't smell quite as bad, and you don't get those soggy hot dogs.
It's just as hard to find your friends.
Yep. It's just it's very difficult to find us, but if you navigate through this thing, you'll eventually get here. So appreciate everybody at least watching us here on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch TV. This is Ray W2RE. I'm with Ben Kilo 4 Bravo Echo November, Rockwell WW1X lead developer at RHR, and Connor, the youth advisor, remote ham radio, and
long time listener, first time caller, Ray.
Yeah. He got into ham radio so he can get on Jonesport.
Pretty much. Secret's out.
Don't blame you.
I would do a whole lot of stuff to get on Jonesport.
Yeah, we noticed that.
Yeah, there's not much I wouldn't do.
Yo, let me ask you this. I need a manicure. Would you do a manicure for Jonesport?
Is that because hey, I am half Japanese.
Manny or Petty?
That seems kind of.
I didn't know that. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Do you speak Japanese?
Wait, how did you guys get into ham radio? That's
yeah.
We'll
start off with Connor. How'd you get into ham radio? Tell us what your age is and what you really enjoy in ham radio.
Well, Rockwell, that's interesting.
He just typed in the chat, so he had to go.
My age is 18. He's put / in the chat. Very nice.
Yeah.
My age is 18. What got me into the hobby is my high school had a radio club, and I took an electronics class. And if we got our license, we got extra credit. So
that's a good motivator.
I can't pass up extra credit. We got a extra 100 on a test. He would put an extra test in and give us 100. So, boy, I couldn't pass that up. Although I already had an A in the class, but so I did that, got the test, and well, now look at me. What do I enjoy most about it? Probably contesting and DXing, and using Jonesport.
Jonesport, Maine.
How about you, Benjamin?
Yeah. So I got into ham radio essentially because of my uncle, who actually was in here earlier before we started streaming, who listened a bit. and he's like a total portable ops QRP only guy. So he'd always bring his radios to my house or wherever, and he'd throw up a wire, and then be like, look, we can hear Europe on this, and he showed me. He mostly does CW, but we made a bunch of CW contacts, and it was a lot of fun. And I ended up getting licensed a year ago, and I'm 17, by the way, and I've been licensed for a little over a year. And he gave me his last 100-watt radio, so I'm fortunate to actually have 100 watts at my home QTH. He does not have any radios over 5 watts.
That's awesome.
But yeah, so I have a 706, which is a solid mobile radio, and it works great as a base station. And I mean, there's so many things in the hobby. That's really what I like about it. But I mean, like right now, it's really just that you can find like little things to spend your time with, and just really dig into it. Like right now, kind of like on topic with the whole remote ham radio thing. I'm doing my own makeshift remote setup.
That's great.
I'm using remote hams as a server, and then I wrote my own like back end thing to connect to the remote hams server, and that puts all the information on a website. And I have buttons that control everything in the radio, and a VFO frequency display everything. And then I'm using some of the Discord bot API to allow people to use Discord as the audio server. So if you had your phone, for example, you could hop into the Discord server on your phone and then launch the web interface, and then it's not quite what's going on at remote ham radio. It's not all in one package, but it's still a lot of fun, and being able to have that freedom to kind of do whatever I want with my radio and design my own stuff is a lot of fun. It's at least what I'm enjoying right now.
That's great. Tinkering in the hobby and trying to do different things, and being what you're doing with your 706 remote is awesome. I applaud you for that at 17 years old. It's quite amazing that you can even pull that off. At 17 years old, I wouldn't have been able to do that. I can tell you that right now. I could put up a tower at 17 years old, but I'm not going to be able to do all the technical stuff that you young people today are doing. And why don't you talk about, Ben, about your first CWT operation, how you just did your first CW contest?
It was interesting. Well, I mean, technically it was my second CW contest because I did CW or CQWPX CW nearly a year ago. Was it? I guess it must.
Yeah, almost a year. Like May.
Okay, yeah. So nearly a year ago, and that was on my home station. I was either using a straight key or a DIY paddle. I made like 50 contacts like over the course of 2 days, or like I operated a few times and just did search and pounce. But this past Wednesday, I did a legit contest for the first time, CW, using the RHR console. I was actually using Connor's Youth Station, and with all the software integration with WebDX, you can easily hook up N1MM, and I was using a CW skimmer, although I try to do a little bit of both head copy and
yeah, I got all
K104.7.
Yeah, I got all the women just showed up here.
2.1.
Yeah, a little outnumbered there, Ray.
Oh, okay, you guys go away now.
Hey, he's drinking. Who's that? That guy's kind of cute. Hey.
Oh,
Can I talk?
they're teenagers.
No, that one.
Oh,
With a guitar.
oh,
The married
Rockwell.
one.
Rockwell.
You want to rock my well?
Rockwell is our lead developer.
I like him.
Yeah.
Do you have any children?
Yeah.
You're embarrassing them. Okay, you guys go away, please.
Tell them to
Wow.
move those knobs behind you.
Yo, thank God you guys are here and you got Ella. Wow, I tell you, this is what I. Wait a minute, they locked Ella in here. Get Ella.
Oh,
Come on, Ella. Hold on.
you're in a crisis.
And he wouldn't even care to mute his mic.
Look, Kelly.
This is an operation.
So, Rock, you guys used 706s for RHR before the flexes, right?
K3s.
Okay.
No, I think this was before Rockwell. They used 706s.
Well, then this is probably more of a question for Ray. I'm just, when I run my radio, okay, now that Ray's back, I guess I'll ask Ray.
Yeah.
So with you guys used 706s back in the early days of RHR, right?
Yes.
Did they run like really hot?
Oh, that's a good question, because all we did was we took the head off of the 706 and we made that our local radio, and then we put the remainder of the radio at the transmitter site with the remote rig. So I have no idea if it ever got hot because I wasn't at the transmitter site.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because that's like the one thing that just concerns me with this, like having this radio running 24/7 in my house. And I looked it up online, and it sounds like it is just a really hot radio, because I know all my flex friends, their radios are like at room temperature when they're on standby, and meanwhile my radio draws 2.5 amps on standby receive.
Wow.
Yeah.
You ever wonder where those 706s went, Ray?
You know what, Rock? We have so much, we got so much equipment all over the place. It's just, I can't even keep track of it.
Let me borrow these. I was trying to do satellite, like full duplex stuff with them.
It's a good satellite radio.
Yeah. So
Ray
before
has YCCC SO2R boxes I need to buy off of him.
Oh yeah, hold on a sec. Let me show you.
Yeah, we used to. So when we started, when they started, before I came on and fixed everything, they played with the 706s, and I think they tried the Kenwood remote heads. They not the TS2000, but the other one, that TH. What is that? SO2R boxes.
Oh yeah.
Two of them are kits.
Oh, they're not even assembled.
Actually, they're screwed in right now, but they're kits. And this one's an assembled one, but I don't know if it's working.
Yeah.
I have to get one of those off of Ray, because I need one for my RHR SO2R setup.
Yeah.
So we did the 706s. You guys were doing the 706 with the remote rigs, because that was supported natively, right? 706 with the remote rigs was what you started with, right?
Yes. We had to actually, if I remember correctly, we had to cut the cables and custom do our own cables to make the icon.
The remote head. Yeah.
Yes. But you know what? The first time we got that working in Summit, I mean, this is 2010. We got it going, and it was magical. And Lee and I looked at each other and said, you know what? Could we actually make a business out of this? And a lot of people laughed at us and said, no. And, a couple years later, 32 stations on the network, and just keeps growing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
go ahead. I was just gonna say, well, I mean, you guys were even lucky with the remote rig thing, because that gives you a lot of customization. My control is limited by cat control and whatever audio interface I have, so I can like change some of the filters, although I can't do narrow CW, which is really annoying. I can get the S meter, but I can't get a power meter or the SWR meter. What else is it missing? I can do frequency, I can do push to talk and all that through the audio interface. But there are like a few weird things that I'm really missing, that it's too bad. They're not deal breaking. I don't need a power meter or an SWR meter to remote, but
this is going to help Ben with his problems here.
Well, that's
Once he
so
comes and picks this
I
up.
also, I mean, well, my current interface is this. A signal
Okay.
link.
Yeah.
So, and I actually
Just
for
sold mine.
push to talk, it's a Vox interface. So what I figured out was I can send a sine wave to it outside of the bandwidth that it transmits. So if I send like a 20 kilohertz sine wave to it, it triggers the push to talk. So I have a separate audio server running connected to the push to talk on my phone, and it just sends that audio to it. And I mean,
It's such a great idea.
Yeah, well, this
It
push
works.
to talks will send CW for you. So when you come to the RHR Youth
Yeah.
meetup at the beach house, I'll give you that.
Yeah, that'll solve a lot of my problems.
Even I remember doing the K3s. How much money did we spend on friggin' power meters
Oh,
because the K3 couldn't read the power out? Like the
I think
only
I
way
have
you
one sitting here next to me.
Yeah, the only way you could read the power output of the K3 and SWR was to read the bar graph off the front panel. And there was no way to confirm, like to know what mode the bar graph was in or how to toggle it. So like there was no way to even configure the bar graph to like always be in power mode or always be in SWR mode and then read it. And you only get these like, the bar graph only has like 10, 12
Yeah.
segments or something.
Yeah, well,
so you don't get any
it's
power
nice.
resolution.
At least what I get with remote hams is a numerical readout of the S meter, and it's consistently the S meter. But it's just like it blows my mind that there's a perfectly good thing for reading the S meter, but nothing else. I can't read the SWR meter and all the other meters that are in the radio.
It's the same meter.
They don't exist. It's the same meter.
Yeah, the radio's doing it anyways. Just give me a command to get it.
And his radio would do 1,500 watts, right, Ben?
Yeah, well, yeah. I even put I put a little graph under the S meter where when the push to talk goes on 1,500 watts, and I'm already so much louder just by adding that meter.
Absolutely.
let me just say hello to a bunch of people that checked in on chat on
Sure.
the Facebook page. So we got Ida is in here. She's from Victor 85 land, and she's a very good friend of mine, Ida Pa, and she's from Brunei. She just said hello to the group here, and hello, Ida. We got Sam in here, November Whiskey 7 Oscar. Come back, Sam. I don't know what happened before. You're welcome in the group. And then we got Kim Schmidt Wind. Something about
we're talking cats.
Yeah, talk about a cat frying on the amplifier. we got Lee in here. Golf 6 Mike November Delta. He says hello to Ella and the rest of the guys. Kilo 6 Bravo Fox Lima is also a RHR youth. You're welcome to come in here, Brennan. Show us your face. And then we got
Show yourself.
Yeah, we got really bad aim in here. So I guess with Rock's cat running around,
he's a real star.
A dog that would try to squeak that thing right out. And then we got Uvi's. That's one of the youths on the RHR program from Turkey. He just checked in here, and
cool.
Yeah, this is great. Appreciate everybody being in here. So we're running the QSO Today RHR Youth Flex roundtable, and at the QSO Today forum. And you're welcome to jump in here and join us. You can actually join right in and participate in this program with us. It's a regular ham fest, but it's virtual. So please come in, check in, say hello. We'd like to have a lot of questions if we could. Talk about remote ham radio, our remote ham youth program. We'd be more than happy to answer any of your questions. So we're basically just doing this roundtable, just discussing a bunch of little things here, nothing of importance. And I'll pass it to Connor. Go ahead, Connor.
Or what? I was texting someone.
All right.
And we'll CW around here, Connor.
And we'll pass it to Ben. He could tell us some other exciting things he's doing. What do you got for an antenna, Ben?
Well, I have 2 HF antennas. One is a G5RV Junior, which does 40 and up, sort of. I mean, on 40, on 40, it's mostly heat coming off the antenna. off the coax. Although I've got a lot of plans for antennas in the future. Well, I'll first continue with my current antennas. The other does 160 and 80. It's a lot of wire. It goes horizontal across the yard for a bit, then it goes up in some trees a little bit, then it comes back down a little, and then it goes up into a tall tree, and then it has a horizontal part pretty high up. It's all over the place, but I get spots and I can make CW contacts on 160, and it works fine on 80. So I've got all the bands covered in some respect, but in the near future, I'm planning on putting up a beam for 20 and up. The original plan was to buy one from Connor, a TA53, which is a 4-element on 20 through 10 plus the WARC bands. But it's a very heavy antenna, and I'd basically be drilling a bunch of holes in the roof and putting some apparatus on the roof.
And now I sold that with 4 other antennas to Charles.
Listen, I got so many antennas here. If you guys need antennas, I mean, I think I have a Cushcraft A4S. Is it a Cushcraft? I can't remember. On the ground here, we got a bunch of tri-banders up in Summit. So if you guys are looking for aluminum, I have a bunch of it.
I've got enough here. I've got a 3L. I think it's an M² 40-meter Yagi sitting in the garage that I'm slowly contemplating suspending from ropes in the trees.
Right. Look who we got in here.
Uh-oh.
The big signal from the West Coast. You got to turn your mic on.
You're live on the air, Chris.
Why would I want to turn my mic on? I did okay in the SSB contest. I'm on strike now.
You think you did. No one was calling me back.
I don't. You know how rare it is to take a first place position from California.
Well,
like that, and it's not easy.
I haven't followed the ARRLDX SSB results. So were you single band or are you all band?
Yeah, I did a 15-meter.
Oh, okay.
And what happened was the propagation out east, out in your neck of the woods, was pretty
good.
bad.
Oh, yeah, it was.
And in just the right set of circumstances, I tapped into the 5 to 50 watt JA pool.
Oh, that's great.
And I ended up running 250 JAs on 15 meters.
That'll do it.
You know, sometimes the propagation just favors another location. It just happens.
And that's why we have a remote ham radio.
And that's why
good twist. Yeah, I love that segue.
So here's a couple of our youth here in the channel here. We got Connor Black up in the left-hand corner in the top. We got Rockwell, who's our lead developer here at RHR, and we got Ben. And we got a bunch of youths watching us right now, but they're kind of mic shy to come in here. So
we should also explain, we're also streaming this live on our Facebook page and YouTube right now. So you're on there. Just
Ray knows that I'm a full supporter of the streaming community, and I'm also a full supporter of remote contesting.
I hope so.
Just coming here to bash us.
I actually, set up. I'm fortunate that I have the resources to set up a super station that I can remote, with my own stuff. I may jump into the remote ham radio world when I want. I just finished my 9th band DXCC from here in California, so I might be starting to try and play around from the East Coast a little bit. Or maybe Ray will be kind enough to let me tap into HH2AA at some point in the future and put on a show there. But,
well, listen, we got so much work. We got so much in the. Yo, guy, Kelly. Where are you going?
Yo.
What? You don't have a car seat.
Kelly, I'm in the middle of a QRX one moment, guys. Stand by. I'll be right back.
Car seat emergency. Car seat emergency.
Net control, please stand by.
The Tesla doesn't have a car seat.
Yeah.
Let's put him in the front. It'll be fine.
Connor, good to see you in person. We've spoken on Facebook, I know, a number of times. You've been very active out there. Good on you. And Rockwell, you're developing the software, huh?
Yep.
Beautiful work that you've done.
My baby. Thank you.
Very nice. work, and a good job doing the Flex integration as well.
It's been a trip. It's been a lot of work, but it's absolutely the right thing to do, I think.
Yeah. I've been spending the last 7 to 8 years convincing an 83-year-old ham to get his station converted over to Flex.
Mm-hmm.
And it's made a huge difference, especially during the pandemic, that, I'm able to throw a piece of software out to somebody and get my station staff. That's not easy to do at a multi these days.
Mm-hmm.
That's why we need all you youths out there to start contesting, right?
That's
And we'll give you a chair. We'll give you a chair. I guarantee it. And,
well, I always hear from guys. I have a friend in Tennessee who has a multi-2 station, and he has a horrible time getting operators. He just can't get operators in person right now.
Yeah, it's difficult. A lot of people don't really, have time. They don't have the resources. They don't have the connections. But once you do it once, usually you're hooked.
Yeah, Ray made that mistake last year in WPX, and now look at me.
Yeah, well, Chris, what you're doing on the West Coast, what we're doing on the East Coast, this is just groundbreaking. And there's a lot of hams around the world now. This is probably the biggest influx I've ever seen. They're taking their FCC exams so they can access the U.S. to remote, because we have so many stations here. And for you, this is great because you're going to be able to get young operators from possibly other countries if you want them to join in and operate with you. We have a huge group of youths, and I think majority of them are contesters. Both Ben and Connor are CW ops, which is great. I think this is the future. I think the remote's really going to get young people into the hobby. I see it already. And with the new licensing and with the FCC, the remote stuff, to do the remote licensing, it's groundbreaking.
Yeah, I tried to be a RIDI op, but I don't know how Chris does it. I did win WPX RTTY, but I think that's the first and last RIDI contest I'm doing. It's quite boring. And you do SO. You're crazy over there with the Flex. You do like SO4R. Or something.
It's been a while since I've really been able to do it because of the solar conditions. 5 or 6 years ago, N6RO came out to the station when I was running on 3 bands and search and pouncing on another one. And he kind of looked at me for a minute, shook his head, and went back to his TV. So, it's like I was like, using mice to do everything. It was nuts. But Ray, another thing that I'm a huge proponent of is I also believe in the merging of some of the contemporary gaming stuff with amateur radio contesting, streaming, Discord chats, that kind of stuff. I think it's all really, really important. I don't know if you're aware of it, but my stepson is actually a champion Fortnite player. He's Arkram 1X.
Yeah, I think we had that conversation.
That's my stepson, and he does a lot of stuff, and both the kids do. They're out there on Fortnite, working their way up the ladder. And I think that there's a lot of similarities, and I think that there's a way to kind of capture that, and I'd like to see that happen.
Yes, I agree 100%. Let's check in here and see who Whiskey Bravo Zero Bravo Echo Echo is. You guys got to turn your microphone on. There's a little mic. There you go.
Yeah, how's that?
Hi.
Hello. How you guys doing?
Doing well. This is KE0TRN sitting next to me.
Okay, KE0TRN.
Kilo Echo 0 Tango Romeo November.
Is he on the program yet?
Are you on the program, son? No, he signed up. He was on earlier, but we were having some issues as everyone was.
Is he on the RHR Youth program yet?
I don't think so. No, first time that we've heard of it.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So let me tell you a little bit about the RHR Youth program. The program allows youth under the age of 26 to access stations here in the U.S. and abroad, and it gets their feet wet with pretty good stations. Some of them are big tri-banders with 500 watts. Sometimes they get access to the kilowatt stations with monobanders on the ocean. And right now, we give them access of 5 hours a month. We're pretty lenient on that. I mean, if they go over, so be it. But we're actually
Don't
building.
tell them
that. Yeah. Well,
50 hours a month.
let me take that back. Yeah, we strictly enforce the 5 hour rule. We're building out a whole youth network. And Connor, the young man up there in the top left-hand corner, his station's on the RHR Youth Network. And we just added a station yesterday for the RHR Youth Network in Croatia. So we're adding a bunch of stations, and those stations they're going to be able to access above and beyond the 5 hours. So it's a really good program. Gets their feet wet, gets them DXing, contesting, gets them ready for the next stage when they start building their own station. So that's what the RHR program about. We don't get involved with them getting their license or anything like that. Maybe someday we will. But once they're already a ham radio operator, and we really encourage that they're general or above, gets them access to some really good stations. They can start operating, having fun.
What kind of operating do you like to do, TRN? I'm sorry, I didn't get your name.
It's Augustine. Yeah.
Cool.
Well, I have enjoyed digital on like field days and things, but I haven't figured it out at home yet. So
that's because I don't do any digital.
You got to learn, teach, and then show him.
Yeah, well, that's true.
I see you're a technician, so we'll have to get you
upgrade,
general, and then maybe you'll race me to extra, and then you'll be on the RHR Youth program, playing along with all the stations here.
How do you sign up for RHR? Is there a website, I presume?
Yeah, so you go to remotehamradio.com, and then you click the link youth program, and there's an application that he fills out. We have never turned away a youth. So we do ask for a copy of the FCC license, and I could see by looking at him, he's under 26. So that he doesn't have to send me a photo, because there were a few people that try to scam us and try to get under the RHR Youth program, and they were 90 years old. So
maybe they felt young.
So yeah, we'll get him in. We'll get him on the air. We highly encourage that he gets his general class license. This gives him extra band privilege and really take advantage of the RHR program. For a matter of fact, let me ask Ben. Ben's fairly new to the RHR program. Ben, what has your DX? Do you have any do you track your DXCC total since you joined RHR a few months ago?
He doesn't do LTW.
No, I need to get on LTW. I'm going to do it very soon.
Okay.
Connor knows that I keep saying.
Yeah, well, LOTW is kind of archaic, so let me ask Connor. Connor, what's your DXCC total since getting on?
I got my DXCC before RHR, and pretty much the month after I got it, I got on RHR, and since then I have got 110 more entities confirmed.
That's great. That's great.
That's cool.
So yeah, we'll get your son on. What's your son's name? I missed it.
Augustine, Augustine.
Okay, very good, Augustine. We'll absolutely get you on the program, and all you need is a computer, a headset, and that's it, and you're in. It's very easy to operate.
And we have a Discord if you're in the Discord.
Oh yeah, plus we have I should mention that we have a Discord channel, and all the not all of them, but most of them. Some of them don't want to be on Discord, but majority of them are on Discord, and they communicate between each other. And that thing goes off 24/7. So I recommend, if not to leave the phone near your parents when they're sleeping. I leave my phone in the kitchen now because these guys are pinging me all hours. But it goes 24/7. There's always some youth in there trying to learn something.
So is that like a PM or some kind of bulletin board?
Well, it's like a little chat
thing.
Yeah, they all know the rules. I tell them not to do dumb stuff, and I think you guys have been following that, right?
Yeah. We have it posted on our rules channel. We have screenshot your message. I think that is our number one rule.
Yeah, the number one rule is if you do dumb stuff, you're done. So I don't think that's happening there. All the youth are pretty respect each other, and they've all become friends. I mean, Connor's got
we have a brother relationship kind of going on now because we've known each other enough, but we're all kind of.
That's fantastic.
And this is what the future looks like here. I mean, what we got to do as older hams is try to introduce these younger guys to new technologies and try to implement that. Like the Discord channel gets them all together. It's like, they're all chatting. Instead of chatting on a phone, they're doing it in a chat window. And getting them on remote, operating some stations, getting their feet wet. And like I said, this is only a stepping stone. This is nothing that, is long term. Once you turn 27 years old, you're on your own. But while you're young, you at least get access and get the bug. See, we want to get you get bitten by the bug, because once you get bit by the bug, and you're pretty young right now, by the time you're 20 years old, you might be chasing girls and you might get out of the hobby. But you've already had the bug. You've already had the bug already. So, maybe when you're 30 or 40 years old, you'll get back into the hobby, and it's really a great way to introduce young people into ham radio today.
I was 15 when I started as a novice, and then I stopped after a couple of years.
Yep.
He's the one who got me into it a couple
great.
years ago through the Boy Scouts. And we've got a couple of scouts that I know of who are taking or are working right now on their license. So this is a neat opportunity, and I'm just learning about it today, but it allows them to be able to hop on, because a lot of times if they're interested in ham radio, but say their parents are, getting something other than, say, a UV5R to be able to hop on the local repeaters, that's the full extent of their understanding of what amateur radio can bring.
Right,
so this is interesting.
Yeah, this gets them to the next stage. HF is where you really get the bug bit. I've seen a huge influx of young people getting into the hobby. I also live stream. So if your son wants to see some of the live streams, I live stream on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch TV. And it's under the name of Remote Ham Radio. And my call sign W2RE. So if you look up, you'll see the live streams. I stream a couple times a week. And I do some real live HF operations. So a lot of the young people learn from my operations, and some of them got their license. So it's really been awesome to see this all develop. So we got Lou in here from Flex Radio. What's going on, Lou?
Oh, not much. I was just sitting back listening. And hi, Connor. How are you? I haven't spoken to you in a while.
We're doing great. How's things over there?
No, very good. Can't wait to get back on the de-expeditioning trail.
Amen.
Yeah, you're going to that Charlie Yankee de-expedition, correct?
Yeah, we're going up there. Yeah,
that's great. That's great.
Island, hopefully this October, if they don't insist on 2 weeks of quarantine going and 2 weeks of quarantine coming back. So
right. Hopefully we'll be beyond that by then. Hopefully.
I hope so.
Yeah. So how's the expo going overall? Has it been as anticipated, or?
It's the best way I can describe it is fair. There's been a lot of technical difficulties.
Yeah.
The host that was supposed to come through with some things and haven't. So it's been challenging. I was on last night until about midnight, just trying to get on, and we were supposed to have been trained on this last Wednesday. So it's been challenging, to say the least.
Yeah.
By the way, we appreciate everybody who worked through all those challenges and got on here, because some of it was just really tough.
Yeah. A few people told us that checked in. They said it took them 30 minutes to figure out how to even get into this to this channel here. Well, very good, Lou. We really enjoyed the Flex Radio.
Good.
All the young kids in here, they're all getting the Flex Radio and building their own remote station, so their friends can remote in. It's all.
I've only got one right there.
As soon as I get the money, it's gonna be right here on my desk.
Yeah.
Cool, man. That's the way it goes.
Yep.
I was listening to Ray because it was very interesting. He described my life. I was
really.
I was on HF when I was a kid. I got my license, and I know a lot of you don't realize that 1961 was actually not too distant past. But I got on in 1961, and my first contact was with a guy in England, a G3 in England. I'll never forget that as long as I live. And from that day on, I was bitten by the bug, and it's never left me. And a couple of years ago, I was privileged to go on a DXpedition. Someone invited me to go, and got to see parts of the South Pacific I've never seen in my life. I never thought I would see in my life. I was born and raised in Brooklyn, guys. I mean, I didn't know what a tree was until I moved.
Right.
It's an unbelievable hobby. I got bit, like Ray said, when you're young, you get bit, and you'll never lose that bite. It always comes back.
Yep.
You know?
And the one thing I should also add to what Lou just said, you make friendships for life.
Oh God, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I can't tell you how many people that I've become good friends with through ham radio. For matter of fact, I have a friend in Ireland, Echo India 9 Japan Fox. We have to meet up at least once a year. It's either I fly to Ireland or he flies here to the U.S. and we get together once a year. We drink a bunch of Guinness and we have a good time. So you'll make friends for a lifetime. You guys are already making friends now in the Discord channel, which is great. So it's really awesome to see how this all is developing.
And you never know where it's going to take you. And Ray knows this, and you never know.
You never know.
I was privileged about a year and a half just before COVID, where we were invited to go over to the Vatican to demonstrate a flex radio. So we went over to the Vatican and spent some time in the Vatican, saw parts of the Vatican that are not open to tourists. And it was the VIP tour. And I made some really good Italian friends when I was over there.
And you probably ate a lot of good food too.
Oh boy. And that red wine really started to flow. But
yeah.
You never know who you're going to meet. And in the future, if I ever go back to Italy, I know where I'm going to go. I'm going to go to this guy's house. So
do they have a ham radio in the Vatican?
Yeah, they do.
Do they really?
Yeah. It's an entity. It is an DXCC entity.
Yeah, it's in the American University in the Vatican. It's actually in the enclave of the Vatican. And when I got on from the call letters were HV0A. When I got on and I started calling back for USA, the pileup we had, the amount of people that were calling was just phenomenal. So it's just a great hobby. I mean, I've been in too long. Go ahead, Ray. I'm sorry for taking up so much.
Oh, no.
My Elmer tells me stories. You know, he's about, I think Marconi signed his license. But he tells me, he said one day he was coming back from work and he had a station from the Vatican back in God knows how long ago that wanted a phone patch to the U.S. while he was driving home.
By the way, we just had somebody check in here in chat and said the call sign for the Vatican is Hotel Victor Zero Alpha. Is that correct, Lou?
Yep, that is correct.
Yeah, that's the call. Yeah. Valerio, thanks for putting that in there and letting us know.
Yeah, they use a couple of calls, but that's the main call. Yeah.
I did want to mention something else a little bit about what Lou touched. And hi, Lou, how you doing, buddy? I did want to mention that he touched briefly about de-expeditioning and having youth come into this hobby is a really desirable thing for those of us who go on these expedition teams. And if you're fortunate enough and get your skills up enough where you can actually get on one of these teams that may take you to points around the world that no one else really gets to go to. Lou's been to Navassa and to a number of different entities. I got an opportunity to go to Ducie Island a couple of years ago, which is an uninhabited island off the Pitcairn Island chain. And it is an amateur radio experience that is amazing. It's really something to strive for. I really think it's kind of the pinnacle to be able to hand back out a DXCC entity to people that are trying to get it in their log. So having youth get into this hobby and get involved with that, it gets tough carrying those gas cans out there to keep the radios going. So we need people to do that.
I'm in a club for a battleship here, Iowa class battleship here, and I swear the only reason they keep me around is to bring those radios up and down the stairs. But you mentioned you've been to VP6D. Well, I have a question for Lou. So my maestro has been to Pitcairn. Does that technically mean I've made contacts in Pitcairn?
No. This one here has been to Palmyra Island. It predates yours, Connor. Sorry about that.
You've got to find the 100 radios that have been to 100 DXCC entities and get them all loaded up onto a webpage somewhere. The Maestro DXCC.
Sorry for taking up your time there, Ray.
Oh, no. It's great. We appreciate your input. It's fantastic. How's the weather down there? You're in South Carolina, right?
North Carolina. I can almost see South Carolina, but it's just beautiful down here.
Yeah, it's great.
A little bit overcast.
Yeah.
Guys, you're talking about making friends. I would never have known this guy, Chris Tate, or Ray Higgins, or anything.
Oh, yeah.
It's a closed group that you make friendships for life. It's just amazing. It really is.
And majority, I'm going to say almost 99.9% of them are really good people. Yeah. You don't have, the antithetic, or I don't know if that's the right word, where, everybody enjoys everybody's company. Yeah. And we all have a good time, and we always talking about ham radio. It's, Lou will tell you, and Chris as well, when we had real real Ham Fest, we'd all go to Dayton, and we all get together, and with a big family, and we go there into the Crown Plaza and have a few drinks with each other, and have a good time. So I'm sure that'll be coming back sometime soon. And you guys are coming in at the right time into the hobby, because we're going to start seeing some sunspots here as well. We're going to get some activity on 10 and 12 meters, which is just going to really open up the bands for us. So it's a really good time to be in the hobby.
People tell me that I'll see it when I believe it when I see it.
It'll happen, Connor.
I mean, I thought in August when the A index was 0, the K index, and when the SFI hit 85, I thought, oh my gosh, this is the best thing in the world.
Oh, that was it. You didn't know that was the solar peak.
Yeah. Well, I remember I was working people's Skywave on 10 meters for the first time. And I was like, whoa, this is insane. I'm making all these contacts, like off in Eastern Europe on 100 watts in a wire. And it's, and that wasn't even the bid. That was just like,
it shatters my expectations. My Elmers tell me, back when the sunspots were good, they'd be talking to their friend in Europe on 10 meters, and all of a sudden there'd be a VK calling in 20 over S9.
Yeah, that was the limited access preview for cycle 25.
Well, I need to get my 10-meter beam put up or my multi-bander beam put up before then.
Well, listen, you never know. We can have 10 meters by the end of this year. Yeah, the people that forecast the solar, what the activity is going to be in the cycle. Let me tell you, it's like trying to predict the weather next week. They're reading
tea leaves. They're reading tea leaves.
Yeah, I mean, listen, we have no idea. Some are saying this is going to be the greatest cycle of ever, and some are saying this is going to be the worst cycle ever. I'm just going to go with the flow.
Yeah, exactly.
I found that if the radio's off, it doesn't matter with the solar. So the first step is to turn it on. I wanted to mention, Lou, that your idea of getting out and having friends, having come back to it after 40 years, and now only being a general for about a year, I'm seeing that already. And we have in my organization, I put out a notice out on our bulletin board, electronic bulletin board. Any hams out there? And I'm at United States Strategic Command, the old Strategic Air Command, if you're familiar with the SAC days. And there's 35 guys came back and our hams. And so we started a little group, including the 4-star, the commander. And come to find out, he's got a Flex 6400, I think.
Okay.
And he started coming to our luncheons and saying, hey, how are we going to do this? How are we going to expand what we're going to do? And anyways, this next summer, we're going back and forth this week. This next summer, we're going to set up something on the front lawn in front of his house where General LeMay had operated. He was a ham operator. So we're going to set up something there like a mini field day and make contacts with USS Missouri and Hawaii. We're talking with them right now to set something up and maybe bring some youth in. And I don't know, it kind of expands out, and it's a neat thing.
If you want to talk to the USS Wisconsin, let me know. I'm on.
And I also want to put in a vote for the USS Midway in San Diego. That was my ship. I worked on the flight deck battle dressing station up there for quite a number of years.
That was my first contact as a third party with the
Midway. Yeah.
Cool. And I'm from Wisconsin, so they're both good ideas. We'll have to connect.
Yeah, we're going back to the ship finally after a year this month, so you want to contact.
Yeah, we'll set something up.
Is there a ship on the air award or a contest or an award of some type for military vessels on the air?
Yeah, there's a museum ships on the air special event every year.
Museum ships on the air.
MSOTA, yeah.
It's still a little hard for me to call my old ship a museum. It's kind of like when you become a grandparent, it's like, wait a second, am I a grandparent?
It's pretty easy to call this one a museum.
When your ship becomes a museum, then does that mean I'm a museum?
You're a museum piece.
But yeah, that's great. Oh, Lou lost his internet's failed.
There he is.
Gotta love the Comcast there, yeah. So Ray, I'm just so impressed with the way that you've been handling your streaming, and I'm so glad to see you joining the Flex Radio team and remote ham radio, leveraging Flex radios, and you guys just are doing a fantastic job, and big props out here from us out here in California, and those of us who worked many years to build remote stations on hilltops and at contest stations to try and achieve what you've achieved, and offer it to the youths and to the ham radio community. My big bald hat off to you. Great job.
Well, appreciate that. I'm not the only one here at RHR.
Oh, I know.
Yeah, you got Rockwell up here. He's our lead developer, and without him, we wouldn't be able to pull this off. And we got Lee WW2DX, and we got my son Bobby KC2UPN, who basically, we're both out in the field building these stations. It's been very rewarding for me. I've taken a lot of slack, as you know, with the streaming and the remote stuff in the early days. But that's all pretty much disappeared now. And getting on with the Flex Radio team, the first thing I noticed was, and this is not a knock or anything on Ellicraft because I think their product is good. The Flex team went above and beyond and went out of the way to try to get us on board. And that was important to me because, customer support's the number one thing. And that's what I pride myself in is customer support. Flex Radio customer support is awesome. The owner of the company and the son, Matt, Gerald and Matt, they're very easy to work with. And you got Lou here, you got Lori, you got Lori's husband, forgetting his name off the top of my head.
Steve.
Steve. They're all, and then then they got their developers in there. They're all Mike. Yep. And for us, it's our business has doubled. Our business has doubled since we got into Flex Radio. The PAN adapter is awesome, and we're using our own software, but the Flex software is very good too. And we integrated the Maestro so we can operate any of these stations right from the Maestro. It's been an awesome experience for us. And for me, I'm not a tech guy. A lot of people think I'm techie. I'm not a tech guy at all. I'm a tower guy.
You're a tower guy, yeah.
Yeah. I'm a tower guy.
Yeah, I need you out here in California, Ray.
Yeah, I'm a tower guy. I'm a tower guy that used to drive a Pepsi truck. It's funny how things work.
Yeah.
Most of these guys in the hobby were,
something else.
Yeah, something else, right? They're everything else but a Pepsi driver, and I'm the guy that's a Pepsi driver, and I'm one that's trying to push, the envelope here. So it's been a lot of fun. The youth program has been great. I just enjoy talking to the young people. I learn more from them than they learn from me. Trust me, they're awesome. They really are.
We're trying to force Ray to do FT8.
No, that's never gonna happen.
Hey, Ray,
we'll do it.
Yeah.
Hey, Ray, I have a question for you.
Yeah.
The other day you posted, I saw you pull out a flex control knob, and it looks like you guys Rockwell there has been doing some work to get that thing integrated. But there was another little box there that I saw. You willing to talk about that a little bit?
I don't know, Rockwell.
No. Okay.
Yeah.
It's on Facebook.
No, we're just
testing things out.
Okay. We're not at the point where we're ready to do our own hardware, but we'd like to do that at some point.
Like to play, huh?
Yeah,
playing with new toys.
Yeah. We're just beta testing a lot of stuff. One of the things that I pulled out the other day was this thing right here. Is the flex knob.
It's a flex knob.
Yeah, the flex knob. The flex knob is really nice because I really don't need the Maestro to operate. And the flex knob solves all my problems. I tried sending CW the other day from paddles, and I was terrible at it. I mean, it was really bad.
Yeah, you posted that too.
Yeah, it was really bad. And first time I took paddles out in 10 years.
This stays under my cover.
Yeah. And I operate from the keyboard. So for me, not having a real radio where I plug in my paddles, that's not important to me. What's important to me, the only thing that I was missing was the VFO knob. And with the flex, knob, that solved the whole problem. So, that's more important to me than the CW paddles. I know there's a lot of guys, old school, that want to get in there and hit the paddles, and I understand it because you've been doing it for so long. But for me, as a contester, I can operate a whole contest without ever touching paddles.
So, hey, Rockwell, did you add functionality for the macro buttons as well, or did you just integrate PFO capability?
You're talking about the flex knob?
Flex control.
Yeah, so it just does the knob right now. None of the buttons do anything. But that's
maybe
on the list.
The Maestro does though.
Yeah, if you use the flex knob plugged, what do you just plug it right into the Maestro, right?
You plug it into your computer and run Smart SDR.
Or Smart SDR on your PC. Yeah, then you can program it to do different things. I just haven't built that out yet.
Gotcha. So that's a great feature, being able to add that though.
Well, it is nice having a little.
Well, Chris, the big thing that Rock just got us, which was so important for us.
What's that?
The lockout in the cloud.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
That's monumental for us moving forward for multi contesting.
Yeah.
So we can so with this new distributed category, I guess everybody's got to dismiss this every time it pops up. It's kind of annoying, right?
Very annoying.
Yeah, it is. I wish you could turn that off.
Yeah, so
something about remote stations with youth. That's us.
Yeah. So it's funny about that, right? So anyway, the lockout, we could essentially have 10 guys on the same band. With this multi-distributed category, we can have stations from Maine to Georgia on the same band and all locked out and participate. So for us to do that from one single point with one logger, instead of getting 20 or 30 guys trying to get N1MM set up is monumental.
Ray, that's a really good point. And as one of the managers for two of the CQ Worldwide contests, it might be good just to real briefly touch on what that distributed multi-contesting is. And what that is that up until this point, when we did multi-multi, we all operated it in one station with a little circle around it that said you can't have any of the operators and any of the antennas and any of the radios outside of this circle. And during the pandemic here, people have been looking for different ways of trying to keep multi-multi contesting alive. And one of the things that came out of that was, hey, why don't we just like allow a team of people at various stations pool their resources together and be a multi-op, but from different stations in a particular region. And so that's, I think that that's something that sort of came of the pandemic, but I think it's going to be here to stay, because I think that what we discovered was it opened up opportunity. It opened up opportunity for use. It's opened up opportunity for operators with smaller stations that don't necessarily get a chance to compete at that level. And it's opened up opportunities for, you know, lots of different things to lots of different people and really help enjoy contesting. So that's my little spiel on what distributed multi-op contesting is.
Yes, and it's it like you said, it opens up the door for many more people to participate in the contest. I think that's the most important thing when you're running these contest committees. You want participation, and that certainly opens up the door. But we lose a little bit too. I mean, you know, the typical multi-multi where everybody's sitting together in the same room. You know, that may be something of the past. It may be like a hybrid. It might be a hybrid. Listen, if you can operate a station remotely and don't have to travel thousands of miles, get in a hotel, lose a few days of work, and possibly get sick, I think you're going to see that some of that's going to go away. I don't think you're going to see the full-blown multi-multis anymore.
That's what we do at K1TTT. We're hybrid at K1TTT. Some ops remote, some ops in station, and it works
very like Lou had mentioned before about the friendships that develop in ham radio, multi-multi contesting was, you know, I would never have been invited on a de-expedition if I wasn't operating at the N6RO contest station.
Right.
You learn a lot about, one, being part of a team, keeping radios going, having the right attitude and the right relationships to be able to operate with a group of people who might be interfering with each other sometimes and stuff. Like, you learn all kinds of interesting things about people. But most importantly, you forge relationships and friendships that'll last a lifetime. And so I'm hoping that this opens the door to more, but we don't close the door to that completely, because I think that it's important. I think that, you know, some of the larger stations on the East Coast, like TTT, LPL, LR, those types of stations, that's what they're built around.
Right.
And I'm not sure that they're going to make the full transition over to that. So maybe a partial. Yes. But let's hope that both can coexist. That's my hope.
Well, if either one of them, LR or LPL, got flex radios, they can do it instantly.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I mean,
Hey, Ray, let me, hey, Ben, I was just looked you up on QRZ. You're in Miami, right? Ben, you're in Miami?
No.
No?
No.
Arlington.
Maybe you put the call in wrong?
K4B is a vanity call. Benjamin Diaz in Miami, Florida.
That's the silent Q who I got the call from.
Okay. so you're not the silent key then, okay?
No, you're close. Hey, Ben, but you just got that call, right, Ben?
I got that call a year ago. I was eyeing it before I got my license. When I was interested in getting tested, I started looking through the Vandy call list and I found that and I was like, I'm gonna apply for that as soon as I get my.
Well, I think you got to get the QRZ to update it, because maybe all your QSO cards are going to that dead guy.
It should get updated automatically.
I've got all of my
Ben,
QSL cards around my desk.
Hey, Ben, let me tell you, I'm on the FCC Universal License System website, and it still has his name.
Oh, well, that's no good.
Yeah.
Did you ever get a copy of the license, Ben?
Are you operating illegally?
Oh, yeah. From hey, Lou, he sent me his actual official copy. It goes.
That's weird, isn't it?
Well, the FCC is kind of probably backed up.
Yeah, probably the FCC database hasn't been.
Well, maybe I should call them.
Yeah, I would.
I wouldn't
quite
call them.
honestly.
I'd send them an email because.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm right on the ULS.
You have reached the Federal Communications Commission. Your call is important to us. Your wait time is 14 days, 3 hours and 27 minutes.
Look at Ben now. He's looking it up. He's like, "Am I really K4BAS?"
Wait a second.
Yeah, Ben, have you been pirating a call the whole time?
So there's two license. When I search it in the ULS, it shows the first entry is Diaz Jr. Expired in 2017, and the second entry is me active until 2029.
I just did a K4BEN, and then it led me right to this website. So Google did that. So it's good.
Just a license.
All right,
few letters and a number.
Ben, you're still good.
You're good. Hey, I want to put my oar in the water just for one thing, and then I got to hop out.
Okay.
Ray, when we're talking about, de-expeditioning and getting guys interested in, doing that kind of stuff, especially with the youth, I know there's, guys kind of tend away from CW.
Yes.
But quite honestly, when we're putting these things together, we look for people that are, I call them trilingual. Okay. Yep. They can handle CW, they can handle sideband, which I hate, by the way, and digital. Okay. So, if you're going to get asked to go on these de-expeditions, most times the team leader will say, "Are you trilingual?" And it's those three disciplines. Get yourself in totally engrossed in digital, sideband, and CW, because otherwise they'll say, well, we're setting up schedules and we have to have that flexibility.
Yes.
So,
yeah. I was going to mention that earlier. CW is the most important.
You got it.
Yeah. Yep.
I had a friend of mine who was into it. He described it as operating CW as the gentleman's mode.
There's a program that I would recommend. I belong to a club called CW Operators Club.
Yeah, I've heard of that.
And they have an academy that the youth may be able to benefit from.
Well, both of these youth did the CW ops the other night.
Oh, great. Yeah. So the CW Academy, for the people that are watching, will give you an opportunity to work with an instructor to teach you CW. And I can tell you, I know I used to be a sideband only guy. And once I started working with CW, it opened up so many doors, so many different DXCC entities, the opportunity to de-expedition, more contests, more fun. So I strongly encourage you to look at that and download Morse Runner. Which is a simulated WPX contest that you can run at your own speed and pace.
Hey guys, I got to jump out. Ray, good seeing you again, guys. Thank you very much for letting me put my. All right, take care.
All right, bye-bye.
Lou's a real serious expeditioneer, man. He's been on a bunch of them.
Lou's a solid guy, known for many years. He's actually from Long Island, Brooklyn, he said, and we have mutual friends. It's good. This is actually a good show here. This may actually open us up having a group like this, because we're actually streaming this live right now on our Facebook page, and this gives our audience a different perspective of what we actually do. Because when I do my live streams, I'm actually just operating HF and I do a little commentary. But having a group here of youths and a couple old men here talking about contesting and DXing, I think it's entertaining for our audience.
That's great.
Yeah.
That's also an important thing you guys brought up about being trilingual, is being able to do it all for different things. For contesting, pretty important, because every contest has RIDI, CW, SSB. Not many people do RIDI, but anyway.
Hey, wait a second.
But
because they're frustrated because
because it was so boring. But that's important, because you don't want to go on a de-expedition and be getting 15 spots. PSE 160 CW, you want to be flexible.
And I'm going to jump out of here in a minute too, but on my way out, I just wanted to send a message out to all the youth and everybody who's watching, and to Ray and to all of you here. So I've been an alpha tester with Flex for darn near 8 years now. I've been testing this software. This is a great platform with great people. And the tester team are within themselves a fraternity of testers who really test the stuff. But I also have another role with Flex, and I don't know if it's been a while since it's really been announced, but Gerald, the president of Flex Radio, and Steve Hicks, the chief technical officer, assigned me a role as the Flex contest champion. So both myself and K9CT, we're here to help you. You can look me up. I'm good on QRZ. I'm not that hard to track down, or ask Ray. He knows how to get a hold of me. But if you guys, have problems with the platform, or interested and want to know a little bit more about contesting with Flex Radio, that's my role within the community, and I am happy to help you out with that. So. On that final note, Ray, I'll say goodbye to your crew out there on the air there, and wish you the best of luck. And thank you for everything you guys have done at Remote Ham Radio.
Well, we appreciate the kind words, Chris, and I couldn't say it better with the Flex Radio and the team, and we appreciate your input, and certainly we'll look forward to passing any information off to you if anybody has any information about Flex Radio. Yeah, go ahead, Rock.
Why don't we have a remote side tone over digital audio?
Because we have, the Flex has an API, and we really encourage other people to develop devices that can do that.
This is I had to design this. I had this manufactured and built. Look, it's even got a little branding on it. USB audio card to Flex accessory connector. This is the only way we can get CW.
Well, it's not the only way, but I don't want to promote other products. But yeah, I hear you, and that has been a challenge. And also, there are challenges with building stuff to work over the internet. And as you guys know,
latency of course is always going to be an issue. But like, at least give us. I don't know what if there's a technical reason why, because I know the Flex itself I assume it has a key in it somewhere. The keying, I believe, is that true, or they do it in software?
You broke up. I didn't hear that. You broke up a little bit with the last sentence.
Sorry, my internet's been really bad here lately. Does the Flex Radio itself have a WinKey integrated?
It has an emulator that's part of the Smart SDR CAP program. Right. And that's doing it's basically got a general command set of the WinKey. You'll see it'll pop up as 1.0 in an N1MM window. So it's got an abridged, but it's not an actual WinKey chip built in.
Oh, okay. I know the Maestro does, but that's on that end. But
that's for local. And that'll give you a local site tone. And right now, that's sort of their endorsed way of doing it. Yeah. But I understand the problem to be a real problem, and so do they. I know that they know about it, and I know it's something they want to enhance.
Okay.
So
as long as
I would say stay tuned. There's a lot of things, a lot of plates, a lot of irons in the fire there, but they know about it, and there are people that advocate it somewhat aggressively, maybe to his own detriment.
Well, I don't need to pile on that.
Yeah. Anyway, all right, guys. Well, you have a great evening, and take care.
Okay.
Now you're gonna get Steve Hicks in there.
Oh my gosh, look at who's in here! Holy cow! I stepped into the lion's den. I should have hovered over those call signs and figured out who was in here.
You got to look for Elite, man.
Well, Rock just asked Chris a technical question, and then you just popped up.
Yeah, you're burning.
Yeah, we were talking about remote side tone, Steve. Nothing that I've never mentioned to you before. But, the question was posed as why is it difficult to get remote side tone over Smart Link? So I was explaining, that we know about it, and it's something that Flex is very anxious to integrate into the platform. So, and I know that they've been working on little boxes that do it for them too. So.
Yeah, so I mean, I could tell you the whole story here, but I think this is now almost 3 years old. We sat down and drew a bunch of pictures about how we should make this work, and of course, the real deal with sidetone is you don't just pipe things around; they have to be timely, right? You can't go dot it, you know. You have to hear the dot it when you touch the paddle. So that's what makes it challenging. And we drew several pictures about how we would do this and make it work well. And each one of them had some pros and cons, but they all required a reasonable amount of work. And so we went, well, we'll do that next. And we just haven't gotten to next. So we know how to do it, but just have been busy.
I guess the use case I'm thinking of is more the CWX, keyboard typing or macros in a contest. Latency is always going to be a problem there. Like if the side tone's generated on the radio, that's always going to happen. So,
but nobody really cares about CWX because you're doing this and you're typing and you don't really care. I mean, you can hear the CW come out, but it's not important that the moment you press the A, you hear da-da, right?
Sure, I understand that, but like I guess but when you do CWX, there's no side tone at all when you're remote. Well, Smart SDR, I think it's generated locally. Is that true?
Well, so here's the deal. Correct me if I'm wrong, but my understanding is the complaint with that is when you send CWX commands from something like N1MM, where you're going to send CW, and it gets generated in the radio, because we're not normally sending the side tone to the Maestro, because it wouldn't make a lot of sense. We don't send that side tone to the radio, which would be useful to have. Is that what we're talking about?
Yeah, because the way we use it is we subscribe to like the raw audio, PCM audio streams, if we can, and like we use it for transmit, but for receive, we have to take the line out at the back of the radio and go into a sound card because then when you do a CWX side tone, it's not coming over the digital stream. That's like
okay. So for your platform, when you type, you essentially send CWX commands to send CW from your platform.
Correct. Yeah.
And if we had those come out the audio, you wouldn't have to screw around and do other stuff.
Make a little custom USB sound card. But this is a totally offline discussion. We don't have to get this deep into it right now.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
Plus we have a big audience here.
Yeah. It's getting smaller really fast.
Yeah.
I can see the emails coming through now.
Yeah.
All right, I'm going to jump out, guys. Good to see you, Steve.
All right, thanks.
All right, Chris. Take care.
All right, see you guys.
Take care.
Yeah, Rock, how many emails are you going to get of people wanting to buy that now?
This is Tyler's fault. He's the one who brought it up.
Hey.
So what's going on, Steve? Give us some really good scoop. Give us some. Listen, I really want a PGXL, but I need a tuner. So can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah. So we had a presentation on the tuner this morning that Mac did, and we are beta testing those now, and we're going to release them in the market as soon as we get through CE and FCC and all that junk.
Great.
It's really a rock solid product, and it's worked out great. So. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, we're not allowed to say it's this amount of money or we're selling it on this date because we haven't passed FCC yet. But
right,
we're getting very close.
Great. Because we got many sites that we're just living with these expert 1Ks, and we can't run a kilowatt on digital modes, and we're just trying to buy time. So
Not let them explode.
Not let them explode. We sold all of our expert 1.3Ks. We sold 6 of them over the summer. Just not because they were bad amplifiers, just because you can't do, you can only run half power on digital mode. So it was important for us to unload those while we can, and we did. But we're really looking forward to the PGXL and incorporating it into our stations.
I have a question you probably can't answer, but I'm going to ask it anyway. Are there plans to have an integrated tuner in a new version of a PGXL?
There's not enough room.
Yeah, did you see how big the tuner is, Connor? It's the size of the amp.
I know. I saw it
at
not
enough room.
Sorry?
I just said there's not enough room.
Yeah. And the tuner obviously handles 2,000 watts, right? I mean, yeah. Okay, great.
Yeah, and it's really fast. It's probably worth your time to get a view of it, to go when the videos from the presentations are posted, to go get Mac's presentation that talks about it. And he spends much time talking through specs and some stuff like that. But at the end of it, he actually does a demo and shows you how quickly it tunes and what it remembers about the antennas. If you pair it with an Antenna Genius, if you have multiple antennas, it remembers where it's tuned on all the bands for the antennas and all that kind of stuff. So it's
right. And so the Antenna because this is all new to me. So the Antenna Genius, you have all your antennas come to this relay box.
It's a 2x8.
A 2x8. And essentially you can operate SO2R with the amplifier, with the tuner, and this the Antenna Genius.
That's right.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. That's certainly the way we want to go. Not that we have a lot of stations that we need that application, but we do have a few, and it'd be good to test it.
Yeah, I just added the Antenna Genius to our code, so it does all the switching. So we use that in our Croatia station, and it's been great so far. It's nice not having to deal with friggin' serial ports.
Yeah, right. I know for SO2R, you can take a 6600, a Power Genius, a Tuner Genius, and an Antenna Genius, and stack them all together, and then put 8 antennas on the back end. You can do SO2R anywhere, and you don't have to screw with all the, that stuff.
Can you just rack mount all that stuff? Just a big rack?
Right, big rack.
That would be cool.
Yeah.
I'll have to watch that video because my HF Auto is painfully slow.
Yeah, this is all relay based, and it's not driving motor drivers and stuff like that. The HF Auto has a inductor with a screwdriver or something, right? Yeah.
That's probably smart, honestly, because that's probably the slow and probably one of the biggest failure modes of those kind of tuners, right? Is probably the motors, the servos or whatever.
Oh, and if you're gonna do SO2R, you want the quick switching with which motors, unless you drive them to a 5,000 RPM to switch back and forth quick enough.
That's right. I mean, theoretically, you could get a little bit better tune out of one that's screwdriver driven or whatever, but we're talking the difference in 1.15 and 1.2 or whatever. It's not really worth the trouble.
That's cool.
So the way we do SO2R today with the Flex is, we'll have multiple stations at one location where we have a building underneath a tower, and that might be for 10 and 20 meters. We may have another building on another tower that's 40 and 80 meters. And we essentially just, remote into both of those stations simultaneously. And that's our SO2R. But, you need 2 PCs. You need.
Well, yeah, the software, we haven't spent the time in the software to make it a really awesome experience. And, utilizing the Flex.
Yeah.
SO2R in a box would be
reasonable.
Awesome.
I mean, yeah,
Connor hacked together.
Oh yeah, I hacked together a really interesting solution. You only need 2 computers, and it works.
Well, I could tell you, Steve, I'm not a techie guy, and I don't pretend to be. These guys are way smarter than me, and they know all the ins and outs. But my experience with the Flex Radio, and you probably already know this because you probably watched a few of my streams. I love the radio. The receive audio is so much better than anything else that I've used since the days when I was using the FT1000D. I just love the sound of the receive on sideband. It's just amazing. And CW is perfectly fine, and I get really good audio reports when I'm operating remote. The whole experience for me as an operator and a contester has been very impressive. You guys have done a really nice job.
Glad to hear that. It's hard sometimes to communicate to people how good the audio sounds and those kinds of things because we don't have a objective test that you can run that really helps people understand that. But I totally get it. We hear it a lot.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to mention the radio we were using ahead of time, but it's night and day difference on sideband on receive. I mean, the receive audio is just absolutely fantastic, and I'm able to pull. I find that I'm able to pull if I have 10 or 15 guys calling. I find that it's a lot easier for me to pull out a signal on a flex radio than the other manufacturer we were using before remote. It's just on sideband, the experience has been a lot better for me. And I'm more of a sideband operator than a CW op. I can get in there and operate, pretty well on CW. But for sideband, it's been fantastic.
And the infinitely variable bandwidth is just great. With other radios, you have your little shift in width, but being able to move each side of your sideband, passband is, it's so nice.
So when you transmit, you have I'm trying to remember your configuration, but you'll have a tower that has antennas for each band on it. And do you ever have issues where you hear one? Well, I guess you just let one operator on one tower. And do you allow them to do full duplex?
No.
I mean, we could. We just don't engineer the stations that way because they're not because they need to be general purpose.
So I'll give you an example. So in Jonesport, Maine, we have four 6400s there with the expert amplifiers. 6600. I'm sorry, and we have it split off. Like one station might be just the work bands. One station is maybe a combination of 80 and 15, which is what we do. Then another station has just 20 meters. And then the other station has 40 and a tri-bander that can give us the other bands as well. And it works really well the way we have it set up. The only thing is if somebody's operating single op 2 radio, they have to disconnect from one station to connect to the other. And I think I'm okay with that because I don't want to have to bring all the coax to one central point because we're talking, 20 acres of land. And what it would cost me to run the hard line is not worth the effort to save 10 seconds. But that's the way we're doing it right now, and it works really well. We won a few contests doing it that way. And I don't know if you heard what the Rock has developed for us in the so we have a logger that we use in the cloud with the Flex Radio all in our console. He built a lockout. So you know how the traditional way to do a lockout is you have everybody sitting in the station. You may have 8 or 10 operators, and you got 2 operators on 20, 2 operators on 15. Well, we figured a way to do it in software, and the operators are sitting anywhere in the world, and we lock each other out. So
yeah, sure.
Me and Connor did a little presentation the other day on YouTube and Facebook. We actually operated, and we worked 300 guys outside of a contest. He was beaming west. I was beaming towards Europe, and it worked really, really well. I'm very impressed.
Cool.
Yeah.
So are there any limitations that the radio gives you that you wish you didn't have?
That's probably a question for Rock. I mean,
it's a great question. I was not ready for this. Well, we already talked about the side tone thing. Lee would also be a good candidate for this question. Features of the radio. I mean,
I think you guys pretty much nailed it. Listen. I'm not a big bells and whistle type of guy. I just need the basics. And the filtering's great.
One of the things we do have to do.
Do we have a voice keyer in these things? Okay.
Well, one of the things we have to do when we're building our stations is sometimes the radios have issues, and it's probably because I did something weird with the client, or who knows, right? It's besides the point. But sometimes we have to power cycle the radios for whatever reason. And now there is the remote on connector on the back.
Yeah, that's a problem for us.
Well, yeah, and so from what I can tell is, the idea is, right, you just connect it to a relay and you close the contacts, right, and the radio turns on, and you release the contacts and the radio turns off. But if the radio locks up, that remote on connector, as far as I can tell, just dies. Doesn't, if I open the contacts, the radio just stays on and locked up. So what we have to actually do at all our sites is now install remote AC power switches to switch the 12 volts on and off to get the pin.
You know about the shorting connector for the remote on?
Yeah.
That's what I was referring to. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you have that, but you're saying when the radio crashes, it doesn't automatically restart?
That's been my experience. Yeah.
Well,
again,
so
maybe this is an offline discussion, but it's just an
I
engineering.
don't know. I'd have to think about that. The radio, once the software is working on the radio, we have a thread in the main radio software that toggles a line at like a 1 second interval, just sends it back and forth. We have a supervisory processor that watches that. And if that stops happening because the application has crashed, it forces a reboot of it. And so generally, if the radio crashes, if there's a software problem, it will restart. You can have issues where we see it doesn't happen very often, but we'll see a dump from the radio because it's got a memory corruption or something. These don't happen very often, but they do happen occasionally. And when those happen, it's the same kind of thing. It should reboot. And then if you lose power and you have the shorting connector, of course, it'll start right back up when you reapply power to it. But
right. Yep.
I don't know of a reason that it would crash and not reboot itself.
Okay.
Once the software is running. If you have a problem with the radio starting up, then it can blink at you and tell you that there's something wrong and not start up. But once you have the radio running, it should work fine. So I'd probably like to understand what's going on there. But
yeah. Okay. Yeah. Well, we can do some more experimenting and see. Of course, it's hard to test because you can't really reproduce it.
Right.
Getting it into that state. So
yeah.
But
car mechanic syndrome.
Yeah, exactly. But
the other thing we could do is let's think about this. See, I kind of have to know what exactly has died in the radio in order to present a solution. But
right, yeah.
If you had a radio that had this happen to it, that you had to power cycle, you could call our support guys and ask us to investigate what's wrong, what's going on the radio. And if we can isolate what's wrong, we can probably come up with a fix for it that works, whatever it happens to be.
Okay, and they have some kind of insight into logs or something that happened. Or
So there's kind of thresholds of stuff. If the operating system in the radio's up, then we can SSH into the radio and look at the logs and find out what's happened.
Sure.
If the operating system is dead, that generally indicates there's some kind of a pretty fatal crash that's happened. But if that happens, it really should auto reboot when that occurs.
Okay.
So,
because that's a totally separate, like you said, it's a separate chip even that
it's a separate chip. Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool. Okay.
So
that's not the slice problem we have from time to time. Is that what you're talking about, Rock? Or is that something totally different?
No.
Okay.
Yeah, does it rock well?
Yeah, it's again, this is all probably things that are my fault. So
that's okay.
As far as like capabilities for the radio, I mean, we could, I don't even. One of the things that, it's documented in the API. I'm getting really in the weeds here, so just stop me if this is too.
That's all right.
But transmit audio, you can, from what I can tell, if you use, there's like two transmit audio streams. There's TX DAX, and then there's like the regular kind of whatever Smart SDR uses, right? When you're just using your local mic. I forget what that's called, but is that correct?
Yeah, it sounds right. I don't remember off the top of my head. I have to look at it.
TX mic audio.
Yeah, mic audio. Yeah. It'd be really great if we could do the TX mic audio with just raw audio, because from what I could tell,
there's a hidden API command to do it.
So there's something documented, and I tried it, and it didn't work. Is there something else to do that?
Oh, we gave you the command and you tried it?
Oh, okay. Hold on.
Rock is having an epiphany.
Well, hold on. Is it documented is it in FlexLib? Can I just poke in there and see it, or no?
Well, so tell me what you're trying to do again.
Yeah, so we just have raw audio.
Well, let me ask you guys this question: is this top secret stuff that?
Nah.
Because we're streaming right now.
No, it's all right.
Okay.
That's okay.
It's
So
all right.
what we do right now is because of the way our audio stuff is set up, we can't deal with Opus directly. We can just do raw audio, right? PCM.
Mhm.
So for receive audio, that works great. You can tell it to give us, the high or low quality data things, and it streams at us, and we can do all our stuff. But for transmit, I actually have to use TX DAX just to get our audio through, because that's the only thing that supports raw audio for transmit.
Oh, okay. But you're not looking for IQ data to transmit. You're looking for audio.
Yeah, correct. Yeah.
Okay.
Over the mic stream, I guess is the right terminology.
There is also a way, I believe, to turn. So what you essentially want to do is you want to remove the Opus interpreter from that, so that you can send the mic audio but not have it go through Opus.
Correct. Yeah.
Yeah, we can also do that, and in fact, we do that automatically today based on your IP address. So if you're local. Well, I need to go look at that because we've changed some of that. But that's something that we could do very easily, because I know we have the capability to do that today.
Interesting. Okay. Because again, it's in FlexLib. I've tried it, and when it creates a stream, it still says it's an Opus stream. So, yeah. Lots of like just little things that maybe you and I should sit down sometime and just kind of hash some of this stuff out, because make sure that, I'm not doing something stupid or missing something.
Yeah, we can do that.
That'd be cool.
So do you allow people to do digital modes?
Yeah, we basically they have them use Smart DAX for digital modes.
Okay.
Yeah.
With some smart link little hack.
Yeah, we kind of do our own thing for that.
Okay.
Yeah. We got a couple of people in here, Terry and Mike.
Yeah, they got their mics off. I don't know.
Welcome, guys. We're just...
You could turn your mics on in your video.
Mike's mic is not mic'd.
Mike.
I am now mic'd.
Hey, Mike. How you doing, Mike?
Well, we're doing okay. Just it's been a long day of figuring out how to run this platform a little bit.
Yeah, it takes a little time to learn it. Maybe we should all train ahead of time, huh?
Yeah, well, if you're really a good ham, you just have to click enough buttons to figure it out.
Right.
Till something breaks.
And then we got Terry in here, Kilo Yankee 4 Echo. If you turn your mic on, we'll be more than happy to say hello. Or at least maybe you can hear us. So yeah, Steve, awesome work, and I'm really enjoying the Flex experience. I don't need the Maestro. The Maestro's not important to me. It's important to a lot of other people, because I'm okay sending CW from the keyboard. And operating on the glass is just perfect for me. It's really I don't need knobs anymore. I'm beyond the knobs.
Well, we really like Smart Control.
Yeah, Smart Control. Yeah. I actually use Smart Control with the Maestro, but I find it 90% of the time I don't go that way. But maybe if I operate a contest and I want the VFO other than, because I got this now. I don't know if you've seen this. I got this little flex knob. That works awesome. So maybe I just use that.
What you might find, Ray, when I set you up with SO2R, is I like to have my Maestro sitting right here.
Yeah.
Hi, Ben. Sitting right here in Smart Control mode of my Molt radio, and I have it right here, so it's right. The VFO is right off the front of my keyboard, and so I just spin the keyboard or spin the VFO on the Maestro.
Spin the keyboard. That's cool.
And so I don't have to keep going. Because I have one computer here with each radio separated, so I don't have to, click over to this radio and focus off of N1MM. So that's what I find Smart Control so, more useful for is.
And you're talking about using like N1MM or something, right?
Yeah, I use N1MM and then I connect Smart Control to the.
Well, if we get Rock to develop an SO2R inside the console, I'll have to go that route.
And maybe Rock will do a CW ops log too.
Oh, good work. You added work to your list there, Rock.
Only one
Rock's
person,
list
guys.
is going to be this long.
No CW ops log, Rock? You can probably do that in 10 minutes.
Well, I put a seed into Rock's head to be able to import M&M contests in. So.
Well, listen, we overwork Rock. Look at him.
Well, no, I'm sure Steve, you're familiar with the list, the never-ending list of feature requests.
And I'm sure Steve has a list that he probably can't finish either.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That's how this works.
Every time we ask Rock to implement it, he says 2 weeks, but he does it in 2 hours. But he tells us 2 weeks.
Everything's always 2 weeks.
Hey Ray, some person's on your radio. What's up with that?
My radio?
Your radio's transmitting behind you.
Oh yeah.
Like you're some kind of remote or something.
Yeah.
Is that you, Connor?
No.
These radios are going nonstop around the clock. Our operation here, Steve, is 24/7, 365. It's just nonstop. Those radios are going. A testament to Flex Radio. We have these sites. Some of these sites go 300 hours a month, and that's 10 hours a day, and they're taking a beating. Some of them are in buildings. I mean, most of them are heated, but they're doing a good job.
Yeah, my radio sits here from the day I bought it. I don't think it's really been turned off. It just stays on.
The way it should be, yeah.
Yeah. Just like my computer hasn't been off since the day I bought it. Always a good thing.
Yeah, I think it would have been good to have Lee in here. He probably had a few requests for implementations on the web.
You can let us know offline.
Yeah, sure. We appreciate you guys having the support. And it's been really awesome.
Yeah, I was telling Lou N2TU N2TU earlier that the support from Flex is really awesome. We didn't see that from the last radio manufacturer we had, so it's good to have the support from you guys. Really appreciate it.
Yeah,
well, glad to hear that.
Whenever I have a question, I do what I'm not supposed to do, and I text Mike, and I swear within 5 minutes I've got a page-long response on what to do.
Well, Mike does a good job with that Flex Facebook page.
Yeah.
He's keeping everybody in line there. That's great.
Yeah, he's a good guy.
Yeah.
Don't tell him I said that though.
We want his head to be able to fit through the doorway.
That's right.
So, well, good stuff. Appreciate you guys letting us in here on the platform here today.
Oh, sure. It's great to go here.
Yep. So you guys have any other questions for Steve? No.
Crickets.
All right. Well, I'm going to check out. I think I'm going to get myself some dinner.
Okay, Steve. Appreciate it. Say hello to Laurie.
All right, we'll do.
All right. Take care.
Guys.
All right.
Talk to you, Steve.
I will. We will. Thanks.
I just got the dinner bell ringing in my ear here too, so I'm going to have to jump out, but I just want to jump in and say hi to everybody.
Well, appreciate you checking in here, Mike. Have a good day.
Yeah, you guys too. Bye-bye.
Okay.
All right, see you, Mike.
I mean, how long are we supposed to go here? I mean, do we continue on, or do we?
I was just thinking that I should probably bounce.
Yeah.
Do this for a few hours now.
Yeah, we've been streaming for, let's see, 2 hours, 12 minutes, and 40 seconds.
Yeah, I think it's.
My dog's probably downstairs hating me right now.
Yeah, this has been pretty good, guys. I really appreciate this. I might check in. It's now 6:54 here on the East Coast. I may check in here maybe 8:30, 9 o'clock, and see if anybody's around. If either one of you want to jump in here.
Yeah, maybe tonight, Ray, you wanna play on 80 meters.
And live stream it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Could absolutely do that, but I can do that on Facebook and have a bigger audience.
No, I'm talking about doing it on Facebook. Us locking each other out on 80 meters.
Oh! I see. You want to get on the air and play?
Oh yeah.
He just wants Jonesport.
I got Jonesport.
I should put him on Eastport, right? You know what?
Well, if you're on Jonesport and I'm on Eastport, that would be a problem.
You know what, Rock? He's getting spoiled. We should take the Jonesport console out of his.
Hey man,
We got a couple.
Eastport's no slouch.
Before we go, we got a couple people in the chat that shout out. DJ 4MX, John from Arkansas.
Sven.
We got back-to-back people from Arkansas. Or no, that's the same person. W5KIC, PP5RT from Brazil, Germany, Delta Fox 2 Echo Alpha November. It's like I'm working a pile up here.
So Tom Sutton says, Connor, we only see half of your head.
Hey, I know Tom.
Well, yeah.
Hi, Tom. NATSU. We need to tell Sven hello. DJ whatever MX and 9A5MX. He's an RHR Youth.
I'm going to quickly ask if there's anybody in the RHR chat window there on stream. Does anybody have a question before we jump out of here?
Great idea. Also, nice seeing you, Uves. I'm sorry, I don't know how to pronounce your name.
Uves?
Uves?
Yep,
I
he's
think
an RHR Youth. He just got in our Discord.
Yeah, how do you pronounce his name? Do we know?
Uves.
Uves? Uves? It's Uves.
There's Sven, Delta Japan 4 Mike X-Ray. Hey, Sven, what's going on? And we got Chris in here.
We got Ben drinking milk.
Are you drinking milk, Ben?
I am drinking milk.
Oh, that's good. Milk is good for you.
It's actually a mudslide.
Yeah, it's good for you. What's going on, Chris?
Oh, look at that shack.
Look at that shack.
Looks like Rockwell at his previous place.
That's amazing.
Just saying hello. I'm a Flex user, and I've got a lot of interest in getting youth on the air, as well as my daughter. So just figured I'd come in and take a listen.
Oh, okay. We're ICOM users, by the way.
You know what ICOM stands for?
What's that?
I can't afford Motorola.
Wow.
I've never heard that one before.
Shots fired.
I can't offer much. No, I don't know.
Well, we're having fun in here, but we're all just about ready to check out of here. We've been how long have we been in here, Connor?
We've been live streaming for 2 hours 16 minutes. I think we've been here 4 hours.
Wow. Yeah, we're actually simulcasting this on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitch TV, and it's been I think do we have a bigger audience on Facebook or here? I mean, do we even know how many people are watching?
Yeah, here. So we've got 1 on Twitch, 8 on Facebook, and 8 on YouTube right now. So it's
right. And I'm talking about on this platform here. Can anybody else watch us besides us 5 or no?
Yeah, it should be just this 5, I think.
Yeah, we're the only ones in the room right now. Yeah.
Okay, so it's good for us to stream this because others got to see what's going on. That's great.
Everybody was loving Steve Hicks. There was like 20 people on Facebook when he was in here.
Oh, by the way, Rockwell, one guy in here gave you a +1 to Rock for bringing up the flex latency and one key emulation.
Yeah. Really quick question from the chat here. Thomas is asking. Thomas says Connor's audio is in the mud. I don't know what that's about. We gotta fix your stuff over there. Do we need any flex gear at home to take full advantage of the pan adapter? For remote ham radio, you don't, because it's all just done in the browser. We do the pan adapter in Chrome or Safari or Firefox or whatever browser you're using. Mostly we recommend Chrome, but we just do everything in the pan adapter right in the browser. So yeah, you don't even need any gear at all to get on with RHR.
Oh, you do need a computer.
You need a computer. I assume, you're right. I can't assume that because a lot of people just use their phone these days.
Oh, you can use your phone too.
So, Chris, you mentioned the youth thing. Just curious, tell us a little bit more about that. Like what you're doing over there.
Well, I'm obviously not youth anymore. I'm 48, but my daughter's 11.
Oh, you're 48? You look a lot younger than 48, by the way.
Well, my daughter's 11, and I've not been pushing ham radio on either of my kids, and she kind of jumped in and was very interested in Morse code, and she's studying to get her license. So I did a talk with her school through Zoom about what amateur radio is, and I'm trying to get some kids her age and older up through high school involved in it. My love for the hobby is contesting, and I find contesting is a place where the youth are attracted to it because of the competitive nature. So just trying to open as many people's eyes to what amateur radio is and where it can lead. I was licensed at age 13, and it led to the job I have now. So it definitely opens doors.
That's cool.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome.
Looks like we got a high-profile YouTuber in watching us on YouTube, HRCC, biggest ham radio YouTuber.
Oh, that's great. Great. Good to see him in here.
Yeah, he's texting me now.
Hey,
He got mad at me for not talking about him. So there you go.
Well, but he's not a flex. He doesn't have a flex, does he?
So
not yet.
So Chris, yeah, what we're doing, we're also trying to, keep the hobby alive with younger folks. I guess I'm not a younger folk anymore. I'm 33. So, yeah, Ben and Connor here are both part of our youth program. So like for folks under, what's the cutoff now? 25? 26. So this is the high cutoff. We have, let these guys get on the air on our remote stations and all, just in the browser and stuff. We don't even need gear and stuff. So it's been awesome for us to operate, get new people in and have them make their own community for like the next generation of, operators. So yeah.
The youth is what's going to make it so that when I'm 75, I can go into my ham shack and there'll still be some activity. If we don't get more youth involved, all the building I'm doing on my station will be a mute point because there won't be anybody left on the airwaves. So,
well, I'll give you a little insight, Chris. Let me give you a little insight. This hobby is far from dead. We're just scraping the surface here. Look at these youths in here. They're more than just two of them. There's thousands here just in the U.S. that are starting to get into ham radio, and I'm going to tell you why. And this is important for us older folks in ham radio to start thinking outside the box. Live streaming your HF operations or anything cool that you're doing, tower work, antenna work, and doing it on a thing called Twitch TV is what's getting these young people involved. And I'm seeing it firsthand. And there's young people around the world right now, young people under 25, 26 years old that are taking their FCC license so they can get on our youth program. So
well, Ray, I'd like to maybe get with you some other time. I'd love to learn about what you're doing on Twitch. I followed you on YouTube and what you're doing. I would like to, if I can get over the camera shy bit, I'd love to do some of the same thing because I'm in some pretty unique environments in what I do, both for my full-time job and my hobby, that I would love to get that out to youth and other older hams of what else there is into amateur radio other than sitting in a basement smoking a cigar and rag chewing. So exactly. I'd love to show the world all of these other aspects of the hobby that they might not know even existed.
Well, I can tell you there's a lot of them that don't know this hobby exists and they don't know what it's all about. But the live streaming has been instrumental over the past, for me. Listen, I had 11 million views last year from my videos on Facebook, between Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch TV. I did a presentation this morning. I had 2,000 people watch me live operate from Croatia. And then and you give that a couple of days, it'll be up to 5, 10, 15, 20,000 people watch that stream. And some of them are coming in for the first time. And that first impression is really important on what we do. And if you get over that mic shy, you could be, part of the participation to get young people involved. It's for me, I like to give back to the hobby because it's given me so much. I'm retired. I'm 55 and I'm retired. I collect a pension. But I do the RHR thing. I'm really not retired because I'm running around like a chicken without a head, keeping these sites up and running.
But from my perspective, this hobby is just scraping the surface because the remote technology with the Flex Radio, which is very important. We should, put Flex in there because of their technology. Is getting a lot of young people involved. For a matter of fact, Connor has got a Flex Radio in his house right now where he's sitting, and it's on the RHR Youth Network. So we got youths giving back to youths, which is just incredible. And this is contagious. This whole thing is catching on. We're just scraping the surface. This hobby's far from dead. We need organizations, and I mean this when I say this. We need organizations. They need to replace the people they have in there. They got to bring young people in there that have an insight on what they want. When you have older people in there running organizations, they're hurting the hobby. They're not looking outside the box. So that's my my thinking. I may be wrong, but from my last 2 years of streaming and dealing with young people, I think these two guys will tell you that it's very instrumental for them moving forward.
Well, I can tell you, to give you some anecdotal data. I was on the ARRLVE team that when COVID hit, we got permission to conduct online exams.
That's huge.
And the since March or actually May of last year is when I got involved. I personally have given over 750 exams, and the team I'm in has done well over 1,000. And I'd say about a third are younger people, and about I'd say 20% are women.
Yeah.
And so there's been a significant renaissance, I think, in the appeal of the hobby. I don't know if some of that was brought upon by COVID and the fact that people are stuck in their house and they're trying to think of what to do with their time, or if it's because that the hobby offers people a lot. And I really think the maker movement has added a lot of interest and provided some accessibility to that. So I think it's really good, and it was very seeing you guys here, as I said earlier when I jumped in here, before seeing your faces is really cool. It's really great to see.
Well, appreciate that, Dan. What you guys doing there at the VT is fantastic. I could tell you from my experience here in Rockwell, we get the emails. There's a huge influx of hams getting their FCC license outside of the USA. It's just not happening here in the US. It's people outside of the USA because they can get their technician general, and now they can remote into stations in the US and operate remote, or they can remote into a friend station in the US, but they need the FCC license. They can't operate under SEPT because SEPT doesn't allow remote operation to the US because you need to be boots on the ground. Let me just say hello to two people in here that just checked in from, we're actually live streaming this, Dan.
Oh,
so,
I didn't know that.
Yeah,
okay.
So we got Mangoon. He says, good morning from the Philippines. I'm not a ham radio operator, but I love to watch and enjoy your live streaming. And I'm following you on Facebook. Good luck to everyone. And then we have Robbie from Ireland. It's probably pretty late there in Ireland, probably midnight. He says, hello, Ray, from the whole land. Robbie here in County Limerick. Hello to the RHR Youth team. Stay safe and be well. Echo India 9, Echo India 2 at Talipapa. So I just wanted to mention that. Yeah, so we're not only we doing this here, we're live streaming, and we got a big audience watching us now. So go ahead, Chris. I think you had some input there.
No, I'm just sharing your energy, which is great. I would like to focus my energy because I feel like we're very similar, high energy people. One of the things you're talking about of more and more people getting licensed, what I'd like to work on is getting the youth or adults, for that matter, that are licensed to stay in the hobby. I think a lot of them buy their Bofang and they get on the local 2-meter repeater, they get bored with it, both end goes in the drawer, and they leave the hobby. So what I find your Twitch stuff and YouTube stuff to do is to show all these people what else is in the hobby, other than what the little slice of pie that they might see. That there's ham radio is a very general topic. There's all these little hobbies within the hobby that might spark someone's interest. So that's what I really would like to get out there to people, whether it be social media or whatever, of all these sub hobbies within the hobby.
Yes, you're absolutely correct. And if we live stream that stuff, people see what we're doing. Like when I go up and when I climb to a tower 200 feet, when I get up to the tower, I take out my iPhone. I live stream from the top of the tower. And you know what? They get to see it. They get to experience what I'm experiencing on the top of the tower, and they love it. So I think live streaming is definitely instrumental to the hobby. We just got to get these, contest committees to get on board to allow it, because right now it's not allowed in contesting. So we're going to do this big operation at the end of the month, WPX, with 10 youths. We could all be live streaming it, but it's against the rules. So, can you imagine if, you had 20, 30, 40 guys live streaming their Operation WPX, what that will do for the next contest? That will get so many more people involved in the contest because they don't know what it's about.
Could you get around that by not technically live streaming it, but have a 15, 20-minute delay on your live stream? Would it be legal then?
Kind of a gray zone, I think.
That's a really good question.
Listen, the way they should go about it, this is very simple. The easiest way to allow live streaming, whoever's live streaming, they're automatically put into like an assisted category.
Exactly.
They're put into an assisted category, and just let them do whatever they want. Make it live. There's already an inherited delay anyway of like 35 to 45 seconds. So nobody's ever going to be able to time a QSO that way.
You have a very good point there. What is the difference between me seeing you on 14.285 on live stream versus me looking and seeing that you're on that frequency on a spot on assisted?
Right.
There's no difference.
Right. So just make it assisted and allow it. Multi should be allowed to stream. I mean, it's. They're allowed to look at RBNs. I mean,
multi is basically exempt from all rules. When it comes to spotting and all that.
So I think we certainly should really look into the live streaming. I think it's very, very important. I think they don't understand. I think the guys running these organizations really don't understand it. I think they need to be educated in it and what kind of impact it has in a hobby. I know for the young people, it's huge. That's how I'm going to say about 1/3 of the RHR youth members that are on the program, they got their license because they watched the videos, and now they're doing 30, 40 words a minute CW. So from my perspective, I think it's huge.
Yeah, I agree.
So Ben and Connor, I'd love to hear from you what interested you first in there at some point there was this like I'm sort of interested, and then you kind of crossed the threshold and you said I'm definitely interested and I'm going to get my license. And what was it that pushed you over that last little hurdle? What was the thing or the event or friend or whatever it was?
So first of all, by the way, I love the amplifier behind you. Looks like maybe an 8K. I had to get that out there because it's pretty amp. So the first thing that got me into it is my high school radio club. We had a club, and one of the teacher, I was in a class, electronics class. He offered extra credit. You would get 100. He would add an extra test into your grade book and put it as 100. If you got licensed, well, that's a no-brainer, right? So I did that, and then my Elmer, I started messing around with it, picked up an Elmer, and then from there, he has stacks on all the bands and all sorts of stuff. So he let me do a contest from his place, and that pretty much set it in stone. It set the gears moving for me, at least. Getting to talk to these guys all over the world.
Well, Connor, first of all, let me tell you how impressed I am that you recognize behind the microphone and all the little thing that it's a Henry 3K Ultra, not AK, though. They look identical when you look at them, and that is a beauty of an amplifier. You're right, the 3K or the 8K. So I'm impressed that you picked that. It's like you're like one of those guys. Like that, if you're driving down the street, and you see tail lights like a mile out ahead of you, you'll say, "Oh yeah, that's a 1927 Ford Fairlane or something like that." Right?
I'll be honest, that's
you're
the
one
first
of those
thing
guys,
I focused
right?
in on. That's the first thing I noticed.
Okay, all right. So second of all, that's a great story. So I'll have some comments here. So Ben, what about you? What was the moment?
Yeah, so for me, ever since I was very young, my uncle has been he's like a big portable operation guy. He like sets up a wire antenna and he brings like one of his like little QRP radios with him whenever he comes to visit me. And we'd be doing some like SSB or CW, and I thought that was really cool. And even before I got licensed, I started learning CW, and I basically had the entire alphabet at a slow speed. Like a year before I got licensed. But then I finally decided, just one summer, I was like, I need to get licensed eventually. I know I'm gonna want to be a ham radio operator, so I just need to take the test. So I crammed for technician and general for over a few weeks, and when sat for the test, passed both of them. My uncle shipped me his 100-watt rig, his last 100-watt rig. Now he's stuck with QRP. And then I threw up some antennas, and I've just been having fun ever since. And I mean, now with the remote ham radio stuff, I have access to all these directional antennas on huge towers, 500 watts. It's pretty crazy. I think my mom's calling me. I think it's time for dinner.
Okay, Ben.
Yeah, well, we're not going to. Yeah, we're certainly not going to compete with Mom. So
yeah, or dinner.
Thanks. That's right. Or dinner, right?
Yeah.
So
I have a big moment right now. It's apparently raining outside. That's great.
All
I got
right.
a big 1,000-foot spool of coax.
Bye,
Ben.
All right. Take care, Ben.
He'll be back later. And this goes on tomorrow too, doesn't it?
It does.
So we could be in this chat window at any point over the next 24 plus hours, basically, right?
Yeah. This stays open.
Okay.
The whole worldwide.
Yeah, that's great. So, I'm going to check out of here as well because the wife's been home for about a good hour or so, and I'm about ready for dinner as well. But this has been great. We've had a good audience in here, and been a very good learning experience for me. I learn a lot of stuff from these young people. Believe it or not, I learn more from these young people than I've learned from the older crowd in ham radio because these guys are so tech savvy, and it's absolutely awesome. Dan, it's a great pleasure to finally meet you for the first time and have a chat with you. Chris, I've never met you before. You're in what state are you in? Vermont?
Yeah, I'm in Vermont, which I was going to ask you, do you have any remote stations up here?
Well, obviously we have the stations in Maine, and then we have stations up in the up not too far from Albany, not too far off the Vermont border, but nothing in that state. Go ahead.
I saw one of your videos. You were doing something with a customer in Vermont. I didn't know if that was one of your sites or not.
Well, that's Ray. That's Ray K1XV.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. We changed out. He had a step IR on there on that tower that got all beat up, and we replaced it with the GXP antennas that are out of Poland, and we have 75 GXP antennas up here in the U.S. and they work fantastic.
Okay.
Yep.
Shameless plug.
Yep, same as Plymouth. But I'm not the U.S. distributor anymore. I gave that up. Yeah, I got too much stuff on my plate.
Oh, what did
Ben's
I tell
back.
you? What did I tell
What
you?
happened, Ben? What happened?
My mom was going to pick up the dinner, and really, I was supposed to go pick up the dinner. And she went and said, but I ordered a fountain drink, and I was intending on filling the fountain drink myself, and she had no clue what the fountain drink was, and she was freaking out about that. So I've got another 5 or 10 minutes.
I'm in a similar boat. I sent my son to go get dinner. So
you know what? I'm going to check out for a few minutes, just make sure everything's good upstairs, and if everything's good, I'll be back in a few moments. Take care. All right.
Chris, I've got some questions for you behind you. Looks like you're an EME op. Is that true?
Yeah, I do. I've got an EME set up here. I've got a bunch of HF stuff here, different flex radios. Do some satellite work here. Kind of a little bit of everything. My love is for contesting, but I live in a contesting poor location.
Yeah, we'll have to set up a sked for EME if you do it on 2 meters.
Okay.
My Elmer,
yeah, I do.
My Elmer has 2 meter EME, so I like to hijack his station all the time.
My EME station is off the air right now because this fall I accidentally got one of the guy wires with the lawnmower and the whole thing collapsed. So I'm straightening out elements now, and once the snow melts here, I'll get them back on the air.
Yeah, usually the problem with his EME array is he forgets to turn on his sequencer, or he uses the wrong push-to-talk pedal. Instead of going into the sequencer, goes directly into the radio and puts 1,500 watts into a preamp. But
I've done that. I'm only running about 800 watts, but I've done that. I've ruined a few preamps.
Yeah, he's got a whole drawer. He's got a whole drawer of just preamps galore, but he's got enough that I can hear myself on SSB, which is fun. But RHR also has a setup coming for EME, a double H frame on 2 meters.
Wow.
Remote, which is slowly getting put together. 1,500 watts, solid state, flex radio, all the shebang.
I'm trying to move my amp out to a military communications shelter where the EME tower is, so that the amp and the preamps will all be out there, and I'll have less loss. I am running 7/8 hardline to get out there, but it's probably 200 feet, and I'd like to move that stuff out there so I have less loss.
Yeah, the coax at the site for EME is probably going to be, let's see, the tower is 60 feet, so it'll probably be about 70 feet of coax, 7/8 of coax.
My tower for EME is only 20 feet high, so I can go out there and work on it. But
yeah, this one's like 60 feet, and it's in the Catskill Mountains at like 2,300 feet above sea level. So.
Oh wow! Yep.
Should work good.
I'm in the big mountains here, but I'm down in the valley floor.
Yeah, that's the site in Jefferson, New York. It should be getting 6 meter EME as well. So.
Cool. Connor, just curious, how old are you now?
18.
18, great. Really cool seeing some youth activity. I wish there was YouTube and Facebook when I was a teenager getting into this, because it would have been a lot easier. I was trying to do the hobby with a bunch of 80-year-olds, and it was very difficult.
We experienced it too, but we have our own little support group, I guess you could say.
Do you guys get together at all at like Dayton or any of those?
Well, Ben lives in Arlington, Virginia. Which is Northern Virginia. I live in Southeastern Virginia. So last month, Ben, month before, he came down to look at a college, and we went out and had a little date night and did a Parks on the Air activation while he was here. And in April 10th, at our beach house down in the Outer Banks, I'm hosting a bunch of the RHR youth. And ham radio YouTuber is coming out for. We're gonna have a Parks on the Air kind of rally where there's about 20 parks down there. We're all gonna stay at the beach house and activate parks for a whole weekend. Have a youth meetup.
So, can I ask you, from your point of view, what can somebody like myself do to help youth? I mean, I have my own thoughts, but from you guys, you guys are the youth. What would you like to see from more support from older hams?
Well, first of all, not discouraging things like FT8. You know, Ray doesn't do FT8, but he doesn't. He doesn't discourage us from doing it, and that's where he differs from a lot of OMs. Is don't discourage what other youth
I've
do.
never done RIDI, but I'm not against it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't discourage, things that might interest us like that. If you don't agree with it, just, whatever. And get us on the air. Let us play with your station if you're our Elmer. Invite us over for a contest weekend or something and let us play on the radio with you and all that.
So, I'm curious. I put a bunch of effort last summer into a project that kind of has fizzled out, and I'm curious if you might direct me of what I should do with this. I have a military communications shelter that I've been was outfitting with flex radios and satellite radios, and what I was trying to do with this was create a mobile ham shack that would show as many different aspects of the hobby as possible, so I could bring it to schools or things like that and show off as many different aspects of the hobby as I could. Do you see schools as being open to something like that, bringing in?
So we had at my high school until COVID killed it. COVID destroyed our club at my old high school. We were going strong, then COVID happened, and the club that was supporting the high school club collapsed, and so there's no more high school club, which is unfortunate. But RHR is hopefully going to fix that. Let's see. The schools are open to it. The real thing is you have to interest someone who can help you get into the school, like the principal or a teacher. You have to get them involved, or else you're not going to get anywhere.
Right.
But getting to the school, showing up, for a day, having an event at the school, or even an after-school event, where kids can sign up and just come out and participate with you, I think is a good idea. Because most kids in high school or middle school don't really know about the hobby.
So where else can we get in touch with youth other than a school where it might be difficult to convince a teacher? Can you think of any places where you could set up ham radio? Obviously, there's field day, but
field day is great.
If you don't know that the radio hobby exists, they're not going to come to field day. I was trying to come up with something we could bring the hobby to them to get their feet wet and interested in it.
Well, areas of high activity, like some clubs, I'm not going to bash anybody, but some clubs like to set up their field day in some secluded field, where there's no foot traffic. I don't think that's the right idea. I think you want to get as much exposure as you can, to the public. Let people see you, let people walk past you and fiddle around with radios and antennas and such. So I think anywhere really public that you think youth might stumble by, parks, if there's festivals, like music festivals sometimes will have where you can set up a vendor, become a vendor out there and set up your station in the parking lot or wherever and, have a little special event at the festival or carnival or whatever.
I was thinking of doing that at the local county fair. And,
that's perfect. Have a little special event at the fair. But That's what I can give.
Yeah, listen.
That's some great advice.
Yeah,
that's good. That's really great.
Yeah, the key is to showing youth that it's not.
Yeah.
It's not their grandfather's hobby where they talk to old people. Well, you do talk to old people, but where you don't only talk to old people on, and do Morse code and you have to go through all these hoops. It's, it's not like that. That it's actually fun. You get to talk to people around the world, that there are people your age, whether they're sparse or not, there are people your age in the hobby.
So Connor, this one other question for you. I know how I got interested in amateur radio as a teenager. I went to field day, and back then, we didn't have iPhones and the internet, so to talk to someone in Europe wirelessly was blew your mind. Nowadays, being able to do that on an iPhone, how do we convey to the youth how cool it is, because we're using no wires between, in Ray's situation with RHR, you're using the internet to get to the site, but you're wireless from that site all the way to the other site. How do we convey that coolness that was easy to convey when I was a kid? Nowadays, it's harder to convey that because I can take out my iPhone and talk to Europe.
So digital modes have like a wow factor, an initial wow factor. Wow, that guy didn't stick around long. They have an initial wow factor that it'll intrigue youths. We have set up FT8 and PSK at our school, and it draws people in. It doesn't seem to hold our attention too long, but it'll get our feet in the door. And the main thing is having a variety, not just sticking to here's 20-meter SSB, have fun.
Yep.
Showing that you can do packet radio, WinLink, you can do FT8, you can have conversations keyboard to keyboard. You can send pictures, all that fun stuff. And the wireless part, one thing that I set up for us at Field Day, which was a really good idea, was we put a fluorescent light tube on the top of our mast where our Yagi was. And that attracted some attention.
Yeah, great idea.
And that really made people think, wow, this is pretty cool. You're lighting up, with CW, you're lighting up the fluorescent light with every dit and da.
One of the questions I was asked when I did a Zoom meeting with my daughter's school about this was, what's the future of ham radio in youth? And I replied, we're sending a robot to Mars right now, but we're not going to land human beings on Mars or another planet until we can come up with good communications to get there. And it's going to be the youth that's going to figure out those problems in the future. So I still think there's a ton to do with radio communications that we haven't even broken the ice on. And it's going to be your era that's solving those problems.
Well, one of the not gimmicks, but taglines we liked at our high school radio club before that collapsed, was we liked to advertise that our generation is the Mars generation. We're the generation that's either going to be put on Mars or see people being put on Mars.
Yeah.
And that we're going to be the driving force with it. And that's a pretty intriguing thing to think about. Is that the teenagers and people alive today are probably the same people that are going to be building rockets that send people to Mars, or be the people on the rockets going to Mars.
Yeah.
So Ray, do you still have some people on the live stream?
We do.
Yep.
I'm actually streaming it. I'm streaming it here on my side.
Oh, you're streaming it. Okay, I could have asked you. Sorry. So
yeah.
would be a good question for the people on live stream. But what is interesting to them about ham radio, and what would get them more interested? And
yeah, there's a few youth watching right now I know of.
And we've had 64 comments in here. I haven't been reading them all, so let me see what the last one here is. Let's see. The last one that I see is this. Is it the same one you see there, Connor, from Lawrence Bailey?
On Facebook?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Lawrence Bailey. So this guy's a VE. He took his license. So he says, this is Lawrence Bailey. He says, Ray's live streaming got me back into the hobby after 20 years away from it. Thanks. Working on getting my FCC license. Got my ticket 42 years ago at age 15. Thanks, Ray Higgins. I'm assuming his license must have expired, but the live streaming got him back into it. So I get emails and text messages like that every day. So it's not something that I see that's not unusual. But
another thing, you just popped that into my head. Marga, make amateur radio great again. You got to make it cool. You know, showing a youth, you know, your Collins radio from the 60s. Yeah, it's cool, but not to hurt anyone's feelings, but we really don't care. You know, we like to see, you know, what Chris has next to him, a big waterfall. That's, you know, we like technology. Yes, your old Collins Tube radio is cool, but we like technology. You can visualize HF. You can see what is happening. And so if you do go out and do events, you know, maybe don't bring your Kenwood TS440 from 1990. Maybe bring a Flex 60 300 with you. You know.
Yeah, but you picked out that Henry 3K that's sitting here. I mean, I feel like we ought to have like a special feature on the live stream. Let's stump Connor. You know, let's see if we can put up a picture of from Rig Picks.
Well, Dan, the Connor, pretty sharp kid for his age. For matter of fact, we have him on the payroll. You know what his payment is? Access to Jonesport.
There you go. Yeah, what a great place to get access to. Yeah.
Yeah. So I learn a lot from Connor and these other youths. They tell me exactly what they're looking for, and you know what? I say this all the time, and I have a big following in the hobby. Flex Radio is ahead of its time. They're doing things today that the other radio manufacturers won't do for 10 years. With the web SDR, the SDR, the waterfall, the remoting. Flex Radio future is much brighter than any other radio manufacturer today, because they're putting a product out there that kids want. The kids today don't want an ICOM 7300. They want a Flex Radio, and I see it firsthand. I mean, I talk to these kids all the time. They all want to get a Flex Radio so they can remote it. So I give a lot of credit to the people of Flex for the Envision, because when they first started off, people were laughing at them, and look at them now. I don't know their numbers, but they got to be pretty good, because you got a 12-week wait.
Exactly. Yeah, well, thank you for that. It's not my fault.
Probably Ray's fault. Buying up all of them.
That's right. Well, no, and I think I'll say the same thing to you, Ray, that making RHR work. I'm sure that was an awful lot of work, and I've been just so impressed with how you've done that and expanded your footprint, and sticking to your knitting, as they say, and. Yep. It's really a great service, and it makes the amateur radio accessible to a lot of people that would not have that that experience. And I would venture to say Connor would agree with that.
Oh yeah,
you know,
yeah.
Well, some of the youth in the program would never be into contesting or DXing, without, like Case, for example. He has a 7300, by the way, and he wants to dump it, for a flex. Case, for example, is into CW now. He had no ambition for CW before he got into the program, and we started bullying him into doing CWT with us.
There's peer pressure.
Yeah, and now he's doing 45 words a minute on RUFZ software, CW.
That's great.
You know,
yeah.
But where before in the program he had no ambition, and now, you know, HF is accessible to us all. And
you know how this works, Dan? It's very simple. We just give these kids the tools to excel. You know, we give them the tools to get on the air.
Yeah, yeah.
We give them the tools to communicate with each other. I give more prop to Connor on that than I, because he's in charge of the Discord channel there, and they learn from each other. There's peer pressure, so and peer pressure is good. You know, it's not a bad thing.
Yeah.
And they learn from each other. And one guy might be doing 40 words a minute. The next guy says, you know what? I'm going to do 45 words a minute. And, you know, some of these young kids, there's one kid, he's 14 years old. His call sign is Alpha Alpha 4 Lima Sugar. His name is Charles. And he does these CWTs on Wednesdays. It's a 1-hour contest. The best operators in the U.S. participate in it. And sometimes he wins. He beats the old man. He makes 250 QSOs in an hour. And these guys have been doing it for 30 years, and he's 14 years old. So I'm just sitting here in awe watching what these young people are doing, and it's just, you know, I'm glad to be part of it, because you know what? It's been an awesome experience for me to watch this all take place. And on the part about building RHR, listen, Dan, you have no idea. When we first started this, there were bullseyes on our back. Everybody.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, not everybody, but there was a good majority that wanted us to fail. And we kept moving forward. We built these big stations. I mean, RHR is not really a remote service. We're really a real estate company, because we bought all this awesome real estate up along down the coast.
Right.
And I just love operating those stations. I'm not really a big contester. I don't DX. I just enjoy building the stations and others to operate it, and I get more enjoyment out of that. And of course, you know, the kids operating it gives me even more pleasure. So yeah, that's my take on everything that's taken forward here. And Flex Radio just made it easier for us.
And Ray says he's not a contester and DXer, but you look at his logbook, you look at 3830, my goodness. But
well, listen, when I say I'm not a contester, see, there's a stigma in the contest community. If you're not a super duper CW operator, you're not a real contester. Well, I'm not a super duper CW operator. I can get in there, I can operate and make 150, 175 Qs an hour on CW, but that's the best I'm doing. I can't do 2 radio, dual CQing. I get on sideband, I can operate with the best of them, but you know, sideband doesn't count.
But Ray, that's like saying you're not a ski racer unless you do this kind of skiing. There is all kinds of different aspects to skiing. So it's the same way as a Morse code guy versus a sideband guy is.
Right. Yeah. Well, you know, I actually was in WRTC 2014. Lee and I were team members, and neither one of us were really good CW ops. We knew going into that thing that you know, we were both very good phone ops, and it showed after the score was over, because I think we were like 43rd out of 50 teams or something like that. So. But you know what? I just enjoy operating. I have a lot. I enjoy streaming. I really, more for me. I like, my thing in a hobby when I operate is to educate, and that's why I do the streams. It's an education for some.
Yeah.
Ray, oh, go ahead.
If you go take a look at 3830, 3830scores.com, and you search up my call sign, a lot of those contests you see in there are with RHR. Shoot, there's one or two in there where we're using Ray's call sign for NAQP and winning NAQP with Ray's call sign, even when he, I kind of twisted his arm to make us use it to give him some credit for the station, but
No, Connor. Listen.
Usually we wouldn't.
You got me wrong, Connor. You got me wrong, Connor. I don't want you guys using my call sign because I don't want QSL cards. I'm one of those. There's a lot of guys that own their own stations, and no matter what contest it is, they have to use the owner's call sign. I'm totally the opposite. If you want to operate a contest, please use your call sign because I don't want any QSL cards.
Yeah, well, we made 1,650 contacts in NAQP in 2020, August, from Summit. 3 youth operators, me, my friend Braden up in New Hampshire, and Charles, AA4LS, who is a heck of an SSB op, even though he won't admit it. And we pretty much won. We were 100,000 points below the winner for North America, but we have some suspicions. Anyway, 100-watt contest, but we did, 3 youths. We beat the best of them.
Yeah, they did a really good job. They were multi-single. They beat some pretty prominent teams, and they're youths, and they were running 100 watts. So they're doing some really big things.
Yeah, well, NR60, N6WIN was just in here. We beat them quite badly. Whiskey Victor 4 Papa, we beat WX3B Jim, great operator.
Yep.
WW4LL, N3QE, Whiskey 3 Lima Lima. We beat all of them, and we're just a couple of kids.
Well, and that's why giving them the tools, to some of these stations is what we do here. Listen, we're for a profit company, so we have to keep most of these stations up and running for our regular users. But if we find an opportunity to give these youth opportunities on the big stations, we will. We're actually thinking about making our youth program a nonprofit organization, so we could start taking donations. It may get to that point, but we do put a lot of money out of our pocket to make this happen. It's not cheap to keep a few hundred kids, almost 1,000 kids up and running on remote, and it just keeps growing. I'm signing up 2-3 kids a day.
Yeah.
So it's expanding, and it's expanding very quickly.
I know we cost RHR a lot of money. I don't know what the figure is. I probably don't want to know what the figure is.
It's 6 digits. It's 6 digits. I can tell you that.
We cost them a lot of money, but apparently it's worth it.
Yep.
But, we get access to Jonesport for my birthday last year. I begged and begged and begged Ray to let me use Eastport or Jonesport, and gosh, he let me use Eastport for the day. And I got on there having the time of my life. He lets us use Summit all the time. Summit is like our baby, kind of. We kind of get mostly free reign of Summit if it's not a major contest.
When he says he has reign to Summit, that means he has reign to it for a certain contest. We don't give him reign because we have customers that are paying good money to access those stations.
Yeah.
So
we used to have Summit on our console, but we kind of goofed that up.
Yeah, they the youth to take advantage of with the youth, you give them an inch, they'll take a foot. But I understand it. I would be in the same position if I was in their shoes. I'd want to get access to the best stations. But regardless of what's going on, they have access. Nobody's ever been turned away. They get to operate. They get to operate whatever modes they feel like operating, and they never hear boo from us. And we try to help them as much as we possibly can. But you know what? They self teach themselves. When they get in there and they get on chat, they can figure it out on their own. They really don't need us very often, but when they do, we answer their questions.
Yeah. And Ray, every Wednesday, usually Charles and I do CWT from one of the stations. Every Wednesday, Ray stays up until the contest is over to hear from us. Every Wednesday.
Yeah, that means I got to stay up till 11 o'clock, and that's way past my bedtime.
But every
Wednesday,
Wednesday, he's there.
It is not my bedtime, but I do have to go play host at the last event for us. It's been a pleasure meeting you, Connor, and please pass that along to what was the other guy's name?
Benjamin.
Ben.
Yeah, Ben. Yep. So, and Chris, a pleasure to meet you and speak with you again. And Ray, let's do this again. We should talk offline to see what I can do to
great,
to
Dan.
help you with this. So anyway, I got a jet. We'll do this tomorrow.
Okay, Dan.
And everybody out there in RHR Streamland, 73. All right.
Okay, Dan. Take care. Bye-bye.
Yep. Bye-bye.
Ray, I've got a question for you.
Yeah, sure. Go ahead.
Maybe this has been done before, but I just had this idea hit my head.
Sure, go ahead.
So,
I'm always open to ideas.
I don't know if Twitch can do this. I'm very familiar with social media, but just not Twitch. What about having an event where you get online onto Jonesport or whatever, just like you normally do, but you get a bunch of youth on at the same time on your other transmitters or wherever, and then you get as many flex operators on as possible on the same stream, and you go around working different people back and forth, and we make this a video. It would promote youth, it would promote your network RHR, it would promote Flex Radio, so we could get a team effort. You get Mike Walker over in wherever, and you get let's say 50 people doing this that are coming into the group, and you're kind of the center point, making contacts, and it's going through to youth and going through to others, and it would show what your network does. So you'd see it from the other point of view as opposed to just your point of view, and have this all live, so you're seeing everyone's point of view at the same time.
And that let me answer him, Connor. So Chris, this is exactly what you just described is exactly what we want to do for a contest. We have a bunch of youths operating with us. They're streaming at their own, station. We have, just like we have here, multiple screens open, and periodically the screen focuses for one of the operators, one of the youths. He might be operating from Virginia, running 40 meters. 5 minutes later, it comes to me operating Jonesport, maybe running Europeans. And then we have somebody doing commentary. Somebody just, all he does is explains to the audience exactly what's going on. And this is what we want to do. But as of right now, we cannot do that in a contest. But we can do that outside of a contest. And, we've actually talked about doing it. We've never pulled it off.
So we can't do it because of the contest rules. However, we could make a contest with those in the rules. So we say September, the third week of September, we're going to do this. We have from now till September to publicize it and get people involved and create the rules.
I mean, listen, there's nothing from us starting our own contest.
If you go to wwsac.org, we have started our own youth contest.
Yes.
Us RHR youths have started our own contest. It's fallen off here during COVID because we've got busy with actual big contests, but it's every Monday night.
Tuesday night.
Tuesday. It's Monday or Tuesday. I'll have to look. But
I thought it was Tuesday.
It's every whatever night, and you get more points for working youth, and the most points is if you contact a youth YL. And we could piggyback off of that. Streaming is allowed. Ray streamed it like twice.
Yeah, I mean, listen, Chris, there's so many things we can do to promote this hobby. We're just scraping the surface here. And I love all your ideas. They're all things that we've thought about.
And I like your energy as well. I think we should absolutely continue this discussion. I'm always thinking outside the box. What can we do to get more people involved? The most important thing we should be doing, is getting people on the air. That's the number one goal. Anytime you discourage people from getting on the air with rules, you've already lost them. So I think that's the most important thing. And everything you just mentioned, I'm 100% behind you with your thoughts, because we've actually thought of those things.
Instead of bending the rules, let's make the rules. So
we could absolutely do that. And listen, I think personally, I think the contest committees are going to finally be on board with the streaming. They have to. I mean, if they're not, they're just shooting themselves in the foot, because the technology is free, and you could get so many people involved in the hobby.
I think CQ is coming around. They're getting better with remote.
If you create your own contest and it's a hit, the other contest will go, wait a second, they're onto this. Let's do the same thing.
Right.
It might take a little while. It probably won't happen overnight, but it is the future. All this internet stuff is the future. Instead of fighting it, embrace it.
Exactly. I mean, you're exactly right. You need to embrace. If you don't embrace the new technology, you're going to be left behind. And that's what's happening. Flex Radio is, like I said earlier, is ahead of their time, and their technology is now finally caught up to where everybody else is being left behind now. And eventually, you're going to start seeing more and more of these radio manufacturers going to a computer-based radio. It just makes sense.
Yeah.
So yeah, for me, it's been very rewarding. Being able to get RHR. Let me tell you a story, Chris. So when I worked for Pepsi Cola, I'm a union guy. So when I worked for Pepsi Cola, I was the shop steward there. I was a shop steward of a 100-man shop. And that's basically like being a lawyer.
Yep.
And I dealt with management every day. And I was the number one man in seniority, because I had that, being shop steward, it made me number one in seniority. So I always had opportunity for overtime first. But when we started RHR in 2012, I think I was, let me think, 8 years ago, I'm 55. I was 47 years old. We started RHR in 2012, and I noticed right away the first year that this is going to be a huge success. So instead of waiting to 55 to pack it in and get my retirement package, pension, I decided I'm going to leave Pepsi Cola. And I left $100,000 a year job between, salary and pension and all the, in the medical. And I lived on $500 a week under RHR to get the whole thing off the ground. And for like 5 years, I took a beating. I mean, I took a beating on salary, but I seen the writing was on the wall. And I knew that this was going to be something huge. And it's really a great success story, because we went from nothing to something pretty big here. We built some really big stations. We got stations around the world on the network. We got this youth program. We got a really good team, and it's been a great experience for me. So I left Pepsi early to put, really do big things with RHR. And the reason I had to leave was because I had to build these additional stations. We didn't have enough on the network. So that's when Eastport was built, and Jonesport, and Summit was already built, but it needed a facelift. So, I gave up an awful lot for many years to make this where it is today. And now I'm able to give back to the hobby, which is great.
Yeah. I've watched your videos on building each site.
Okay, great. See, this is what makes it interesting, Chris. I had no idea you were following me.
but most people don't mention. They don't get into the chat, so I really don't know who these millions of people are.
I'm watching it after you. I'm not watching much of your stuff live. It's I'm on my way to a transmitter site, and I'll have it on the iPad watching it, or
right.
I'm at work programming radios, and I've got it on in the background.
Right.
I do, however, caught you live a few times, and I'll run into the shack and see if I can hear you live. And,
right.
And that's where the live bit of the Twitch. I should come up with a Twitch account.
Yeah.
So I could follow that live.
Well, that's really interesting, because I never know who's following me, but I get statistics. So we use this thing called Restream. I don't know if you ever heard of it. It's a huge multi what do they call that?
Multicast.
Yeah, multicasting platform. And I think it's the #1 multicasting platform in the world. So they give us statistics after each stream, and it tells me how many people watched it and from where.
Yeah.
And a lot of these countries that are watching it, I have a huge audience in Indonesia. I have a huge audience in Thailand. And what I do notice is after each live stream, I can go to those statistics and figure out who's watching, but I don't know who the individuals are. So I learned a lot of information by going to this to the statistics. But the most important statistic I got from Restream was on December 31st, just before midnight. They gave me the whole statistics for the year, and I'd be happy to share that with anybody. I was the number top 5 streamers, top 5 percentage wise streamers in the world, and audience, in hours, and in live streams. And I was blown away by that because I didn't realize that I did 175 streams last year. So, that's why I'm really big on talking about the live streaming, because I'm not doing anything special here. I'm not. If you put a YL in my position and did the live streaming, she probably would have had 50 million views. But I think if more and more people did it, this hobby would take off like crazy.
So I got to be honest. You want to know where your viewers are coming from and what type they are. I'll be honest where I'm coming from. I watch my son playing video games, and he's on Twitch or whatever watching, and I'm like, how can you watch somebody else play a video game?
Right. Oh, that's huge, man.
So he goes, but Dad, you watch other people get on their radio, and I'm like, yeah, but that's different. So I'm into remote running HF remote. So that's how I stumbled across your videos. And I got to be honest, when I first saw them, I was like, this is boring. Why would I want to watch somebody else do this?
Right.
And then I go, I then tune in, mostly because if I had your station, I would be doing exactly what you're doing.
Right.
So now my interest lies in you're doing exactly what I do, just at a different level on a much bigger station.
Right.
So the cool factor is there.
I noticed if I go off script and I start talking about, so if I start bashing people or bashing somebody, or the audience loves that, but I don't like doing it, so I try to avoid doing it. But they want me to be like, who's the guy I'm looking for? Like, there used to be a show here. You probably know this, Chris. These two guys wouldn't know it. Remember Chris and Mike, Chris Russo and the Mad Dog on WFAN out of New York? They had a sports radio show.
Not really, but I kind of know where you're going.
Yeah, so those guys would, do their commentary and, bash the New York Knicks and everything. And if I go off script and I start, talking about that Italian with the bad audio, they love it. But,
So I try to like a Robin Williams in your position.
Right. And so I could make it more interesting. But you know, I don't know where these people are coming from. I get a lot of emails. I got my ham license from watching your streams. And the youths, you know, they've been instrumental in that. So I can tell you it's been an awful lot of fun. But if somebody is better looking than me and actually has more energy and probably could do a much better job than I do with these live streams.
So I've had this question. This is the elephant in the room. I'll bring it up. I'm curious if I get over my own mic fright of being on live.
I don't know how you would have mic fright. You're talking.
You're live now.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm talking to what three people here. I'm not.
Well, you're not really. You're talking. You got people watching all over the world right now.
30 of them right now.
Yeah. So I guess my question is, would there be any interest in seeing a similar platform on a much smaller station?
Yes.
To see different aspects of radio, because I've toyed around with this idea for a long time of doing something similar to what you're doing, just getting past that bit of being live.
I can tell you, I know of a few guys that are doing it. Golf 6 Mike November Delta, his name is Lee, out of the United Kingdom. He's on a much smaller scale. He's got a big audience following him. You know, some people just want to hear that accent, that English accent, and him operating. Connor's done a lot of live streaming. He's gotten over the bashfulness there, and he does a good job.
YB0AR.
Yeah, YB0AR.
Always live.
Yeah, he's live. By the way, we have our own streaming Facebook channel, and all the heavy streamers that are on Facebook post their videos on our Facebook page, on the live streaming. So there's not an awful lot of guys doing it. I can tell you, there's not an awful lot of guys that are doing it, but the guys that are doing it, they have a pretty good following. So to answer your question, yes, you would have a following. I don't know to what scale, but any following is a good following, because you know what? You may actually, one or two guys a month, you might actually get them their license.
Yeah. I'm thinking of, I watch videos of K3LR because I want to ooh and ah over what I can't, what I'll never be able to achieve. But yet I also try to see what the average ham is doing as well. So,
well, listen, K3LR is a good example because you're going to learn from the best, right?
Yeah.
I mean, K3LR is instrumental into this hobby. He's got a big station. He's very well respected. He treats everybody with respect, and he does a really good job with his DX engineering videos. I follow him.
Yep.
I don't follow every one of them, but you know, if there's one that caught my interest, there was one the other day about Philly strand. I thoroughly enjoyed that because I learned about how the Philly strand being made, where it's being manufactured and all that. So, you know, the way my kid explained it to me before I started live streaming, he said to me, "Dad, the reason I watch other kids live stream their videos is because I want to learn from the best." He goes, when you start live streaming your operations on HF, people are going to tune in because they want to learn from the best. Now, I don't think I'm the best, but my son thinks I'm the best. and we did it. And the first time I did a live stream, I think I had 25 people watch. My son was like gaga. He goes, 25 people? That's like huge, right? And now if I do a live stream and I don't have 2,000 people by the end of the video, I thought it was a poor stream.
So I use some of this streaming, or I should say past videos that I see on YouTube as a learning experience for me. I'm a contester. I'll watch a video on a DXpedition to the South Pacific.
Right.
And I'm listening to it while I'm at work.
Right.
And I'm picking out what call sign I think they're going to go after in the pileup and see if they go after the same one. And although I'm sitting there working, typing, doing my everyday work, I am becoming a better contester because I'm listening to to these weak signals and trying to pull out the phonetics out of it and seeing if I'm correct. If I say that's Alpha Bravo Charlie whatever, and the guy in the video says go ahead to some other call sign, I just got that wrong. And that's correcting how well I can handle a big pileup.
You know, before all this live streaming became popular, when I used to travel in the car, do you know, I used to have my iPhone, you know, paired with the audio in the car. Yep. And I would listen to the K5ZD audio tapes because he's recorded all his contests and he's put it on audio files on CW. And I would listen to those things every time I traveled long distance because it was entertaining for me to listen. And know what I noticed with the K5 Zulu Delta audio files?
What's that?
He never has a pileup. He's just working guys one after another. There's not 50 guys calling him, but he has 3 or 4 guys. He pulls the calls out every time the first time. When I get on CW, I have 50 million people calling me, and I can't pull out a damn signal. But I listen to his audio tapes, and I hear every guy he's working. I get the call sign every time, the first time. But when I go to do a contest, I have a completely different experience. And it's not because my signal is any louder than his. It's because he has a really big station. He's working them, and he's working them efficiently, where I might miss 1 or 2 call signs. And now I got, instead of having 3 or 5 guys calling me, I have 7 or 10 guys calling me. So that's been very entertaining for me. What Randy did there with the audio files, it's been instrumental for me on CW. So there's a lot of guys doing a lot of good things out there. What might interest one guy may not interest the other guy. So, you know, a lot of people tune away from my live streaming. I know it's not for everybody, but for me,
I relate the live streaming and just merely watching other people operate is the same as my ski career. I was a competitive mogul skier, and I would watch all summer long people skiing over and over and over until I could feel in my body exactly what was going on with their skis. And that made me a better skier. And the same thing is true of listening to somebody else who's good enough. You are going to pick up the lingo, the way they articulate that pile up. And such.
Well, you know, listen, I told you earlier, I'm not a big time contester, but I've actually won a few contests as a single op, but all on phone. I've come in 2nd or 3rd on CW multiple times, but that was many years ago. I become a better phone operator because I operate almost every day. And I'm always trying to pull these call signs out. And, you know, I really enjoy it. I enjoy getting on the air more than contesting. I just enjoy getting on there and trying to work the weak guys in the morning. Like I did a session, Chris, 2 days ago. I specifically asked for the foundation licensed operators that are running 10 watts or less.
I've heard you do that.
I worked 30 10-watt stations in a row from the United Kingdom. Imagine that. Can you imagine there's 30 guys in the United Kingdom trying to call me in a pileup? I worked 30 of them in a row. 25 of the 30 I worked was the first contact to the U.S. You know, that makes me feel awesome.
So you might be interested in my New Year's resolution. I had a New Year's resolution to make 100 HF contacts a day for a complete year. And I'd come into the shack, and some days I was too busy, and there would be 100 FT8 contacts. Other days I'd come in, and it would be sideband contact after sideband contact. And it's just trying to get myself on the air more. That's helping me in all other aspects of the hobby at the same time. Plus, I'm giving out a rare state to many people. So.
Right. I mean, that's awesome. You know,
that's what I wish I videotaped and live streamed.
I mean, you should live stream it. Listen, even if you only have a few people watching at first, that's okay. The more of us start live streaming, the more we can reach more and more people. You know, you may have a different following than what I have. They may to watch your FT8 operations or other things that you're doing. So I think it's really I encourage you, Chris, to move on and do that. And I feel your energy. I think you're the right person to stream.
I've got to go get my dinner, guys. If you're still around when I come back into the shack, my shack is on the other side of my property. I got to walk through the snow to get to the house, but I'm going to go get dinner.
Oh, okay. Well, Chris, it's been a great pleasure. You can email me or call me anytime, and I'd love to continue with this.
And as far as the whole youth thing, which is why I stopped in here in the first place, if there's any way I can help out, I feel your station, what you're doing is a tuxedo on a pair of brown shoes. But if there's any way I can help out in any way getting youth up and going.
Well, listen, you got a Flex Radio. You got a Flex Radio sitting right there. We could send you a server. You can open it up to youths when you're not operating, and you could use the same. You could use our software while you're on your iPhone. I mean, that's always.
I've thought about that. I've thought about doing that. I would like to be able to come in and work contests and do stuff when I want to do it, but I wouldn't mind opening up my station to others, maybe with limited antennas, so I know they're not going to drift off to.
All you have to do is give them 100 watts on a dipole, and
that's what I've got here.
Yep.
Right next to me here. My friends can get on here, 80 through 10, certain parts of the band.
Yep. So I talk about that all the time. We need more stations for youths, and because the youth program is growing so quick.
I would like to see more stations available for youth that don't have transmit capabilities, for those who aren't licensed, that are like, what is this hobby, and they can get on there and tune around and
for receive only. Yeah, that's a great idea. That's always a possibility as well. Well, Chris,
they're going to hear that stuff and go, now I want to be a part of it. Then they're going to go off and study.
Yeah.
But if they don't know about that stuff, they're not going to.
Right. Okay. Very good, Chris. Well, thanks for checking in with us, and have a good dinner.
All right. I'll catch you guys later. If not tonight, tomorrow.
All right. Take care.
All right. 7-3, everybody.
7-3.
All right. Bye-bye. So what do you think, Connor? We're done here?
I think it's dinner time.
Yeah, I think so.
I've been pushing off feeding the dogs since 6 o'clock, and it's now 8. So
I think so too. You can kill the live stream there on.
All right.
And I'm gonna go and spend some time with Lori and Nella and go get some dinner.
73, everybody on the stream.
Yep, 73 all.
Probably
Thanks for
be
checking
live
in.
again tomorrow. Maybe.
Take care. 73 Ray W2RE.
Connor W4IPC.